the I'm a Fan of podcast, music, comedy, and more.
Paul Smith, welcome back, man. It's
Travis
good to see
Wright,
you.
yeah.
I didn't realize it's been like, what, a year now? Over a year? Did we say almost a year?
2 years.
Was it 2 years? I sent you the text. I was like, it's been this year. But anyway, good to have you back, man.
Yeah, same.
When I saw you walking up, I more and more believe that the world is a simulation, because I was thinking today, I was like, it's a warmer day, we're getting into spring, it's kind of humid, and I've only ever seen you wear like dark jeans, dark shirt. And I was like, man, I want to see Paul. I was like, I wonder if Paul ever wears shorts. And then sure enough, today you walked up in shorts, and I was like, no way.
You did this, dude. You put it into the universe, man.
I willed it out there, man. Yeah. Well, what's been going on, man? What's new with you?
I gained a bunch of weight, you know. I think
what's
both
a bunch?
times, I don't even know. I'm one of those not scale guys. I don't want to know the damage, right? But I just know it's there. I think both times I did your show, I'm like at my biggest I've been in Texas, and then like after I do your show, I drop some weight. I get svelte again, and then 2 years from now, I'll just be right back up.
Yeah.
My next
so what it is,
episode.
we release it, you see yourself on camera.
Yeah,
and
damn.
Like, I gotta get it together.
I'm like, holy shit, my head barely fits in the frame. Like,
Oh, man. Can I tell you what? You know the Cowabunga guys, they do that Saturday basketball game? Okay, so I did that with them yesterday. That's the first one I've ever gone to. And I have a 5-year-old. He's getting into basketball. So we just been shooting at the Y, and he's getting in. And, you know, I played high school basketball. We were pretty good. We were district champs. We went to playoffs. I was defensive player of the year. Like, I could play, you know. And this was a small school, though, so not like big high school player. But, you know, and then lately I've been running marathons. And so I'm thinking, I'm pretty athletic. Dude, I've never felt so old, fat, and slow. I was gassed, man. My heart rate just shooting through the roof. And it's like basketball cardio is so different than just running. And, you know, a bunch of those dudes are in their 20s, and some of them are in their mid-30s. I'm turning 40 in May. And I was like, I have never felt so fat and old right now.
well, that's when your positioning comes in, your experience. Maybe you stick an elbow out a little bit more at the top of the key, make some space.
I was genuinely nervous. I was scared because I didn't know what to expect, you know. And literally, I was thinking about it. It's like I never really played pickup basketball or anything after high school. So I graduated in 2003. So we're talking about like 20 years since I picked up and played, like really played. And yeah, like I only hung for like 3 games. They just do these little games to 11, and then I had to go anyway. But it's like I was thankful that was my time limit, because I was like, my body's broken. I'm done. I'm done.
They run half court, right?
They do half court, yeah.
Even then, it's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, at least if you're doing full court, I can be like, they're already running down. It's whatever. You made that one, but no, like it was kind of nerve wracking. That first game, it's like you miss a couple passes, throw a couple air balls, because like you're getting back in the swing of playing against people. And then on the very last game, it's like I think I had a 3, scored a nice little layup, had a couple steals. I was like, all right, we're going to leave on a high note. We're going to get out of here. The one drive I did to the lane with a layup, I felt like a little tweak down in my ankle.
Oof.
And I was like, okay, that's my limit. We're done for the day. I'm not going to be one of these guys at 39 who's blowing out his ACL or tearing his Achilles or something. But yeah. Did you play sports in high school at all?
I did. I didn't play organized because my Korean mother was against it. She thought I would get a concussion if I picked up a ball in any sort of organized setting. So I just played a lot of pickup. But I was pretty good.
So you played basketball?
I played a lot of basketball
Nice.
as a kid. Played tennis in high school because I was non-contact. They actually let me play tennis. So, but I went to like a really, I wouldn't say a bad high school, but like one of the lower income high schools. So like our tennis team was very easy to walk onto, get varsity. I got varsity right away.
Yeah.
But we would get murked by like the richer schools, like these kids that like played since they were 5 years old.
This was in Jersey?
This in Jersey, yeah. There's this kid, we called him the Claw. He was like the #1 singles for Morristown High School at the time. And Morristown's a very rich school. And he was right-handed. His forearm was like this big. It was just disgusting. He could apply any spin to the ball he wants. And his left arm just looked like an NPC, just regular arm.
It's like that M. Night Shyamalan movie. Have you seen it's like The Lady in the Water or something? It's the one where all these people live in an apartment around a pool, and one of the guys, he only works out one side of his body as a science experiment. You ever seen that? I'll try to find a picture of it and send it to you later. But did you like tennis? Was that a sport that you enjoyed?
I still love watching it too, because I think if you play a sport, you kind of know the ins and outs of strategy. You like watching it more. I still like if I catch a tennis game, I still think it's like very cerebral. It's like you versus the other guy,
right?
And you could just easily fall into a pit, and then you got to claw your way back up. Even in the professional ranks, you can't talk to your coach during the game, really. I think they kind of do now, that you can kind of call like a timeout. But like,
Yeah, I saw one clip of these two ladies playing, and one of them was bitching to the ref because the other one was sitting down, and you weren't allowed to sit down for whatever this event. Is that like all tennis, or is that a specific tournament they're doing or something? Maybe
it might be. I think they have like modernized the rules.
Oh, okay.
To speed up the game a little bit more, kind of
Gotcha.
like most sports, you know. But I still love watching tennis when I could get the chance. Like, their mechanics are insane. I still like watching old Roger Federer clips. He had the one-handed backhand that no one does anymore. Very classic, but his mechanics are just so perfect.
My son's 5, so we're getting into sports. You know, he's doing soccer, he's doing basketball, but tennis is one of the ones I want him to get into. And I don't know, because I don't know how to play it at all. So I'm trying to decide if I just throw him in, give him some lessons, and then I figure it out along the way, or if I go play and learn myself also.
You could start with pickleball. It's pretty much junior tennis anyway.
Can I tell you though? Like, fuck pickleball. I was at like the shoe store today, and there's now like pickleball shoe sections, and it's like those are regular shoes. Those are just like trainers or basketball, whatever. Like, stop, you know. And it's like I shouldn't. You know what? Truthfully, I'm just hitting a point in my life where I'm just bitching about things I shouldn't even worry about.
You
know
what
I mean?
To turn 40.
That's
dude.
what I'm saying, dude. It's hitting me hard, and I think part of it too is like, I don't really have any. I'm bragging here, but like, I don't really have any big problems at the moment. Like, life's pretty good. My wife and I are happy. We got a kid we love. Things are just going all right, you know. And I think when you're comfy like that, you just start bitching and moaning about stuff that doesn't matter. But pickleball is one of them. It's like, I should be happy that people are getting out and exercising, and it's, you know, anything to get people off the couch and not be a fat ass is great, right?
Yeah.
But it just looks so lame.
It does look stupid. It looks like tennis for hobbits. You know, you're just like little tiny little net, you know.
And I'm starting, because the things I'm hating on, I see them in my feed now. So I'm seeing these people who take it way too seriously, like they're professional athletes and they're just amateurs. It's like, guys, what are we doing here? Cut it out. Like these clips of people like doubles playing, and they're like, if you're going to steal my hit or whatever they call it, you know, then you better make sure you land it or something. I'm like, okay, all right. But yeah, tennis to me feels like, just go straight to tennis. I don't want to mess around with pickleball.
I think tennis, if you get him started young and he learns like base mechanics very young, it's a very good path for him to keep playing. It's like one of those, I forget what they call those silver games or whatever. You could play into like an old
Silver
age.
games.
Or,
like they're saying it's a sport old people can play?
Yeah. Golf, tennis, you know.
Dude, this old guy I knew, he was a surgeon, and he was in pretty good shape. And I was talking to him. I was like, man, how do you keep it in good shape? And that's what it was tennis. And I talked to some people that knew him. They're like, yeah, he's really good. Like, he's not a dude who just plays. Like, he'll school you. And that's when I started thinking about it, because I want him to be on a team sport, and I want to see like you can bust your ass and work really, really, really hard. But if you have a slacker in the group, it could still sabotage you, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think that's an important lesson of like, it's got to be a good group, right? And then whereas tennis, it would be, no, dude, if you suck, you suck. It's just you and your effort alone.
Yeah, that's
you know?
Yep.
And we have a court near the house, but it's kind of like doing that pickup game. Like, I'm a little nervous to just get out there and start hitting the ball, you know? At my age, I shouldn't care, but I still think of like you think people are watching you and judging you, and really nobody cares about you.
Yeah.
But,
and I would say if you ever start, you got to get tennis shoes, because like if you just go out there running shoes, there's a lot of stop and go.
Yeah,
like I've seen people wreck their ankles because they're just wearing like regular running shoes, and it just does not have the same stopping power as like tennis shoes do.
Dude, yesterday before I did that pickup game, I had to go by Academy and buy like the cheapest pair of basketball shoes. I've been so out of it. I was like, well, I'm 39. I'm not buying like LeBron's shoe. You know, I'm not going to do that. But so I just found some like $65 pair of Adidas or something that were basketball shoes, because that's all I have is running shoes. And I was like, well, this is it. I'm going to fuck my ankle up right here.
I don't know what it is. I love Adidas athletic shoes. I think they just fit my foot better. I kind of have like a wider foot at the top.
Yeah.
All their athletics, I always get, well, this is when I could walk, you know? Now I'm just like, anything that could help me hobble along, I'll just wear, you know?
Yeah. Well, how much longer till you finally get this surgery, man?
I need to talk to the VA.
Doesn't the VA just cover it? Can't you just go knock this out?
Dude, you got it. The VA, they'll throw loops, like hoops, like red tape everywhere. Like they don't want to release the money for anything.
So what holds it up for you now?
I went.
For those who don't know, Paul's a military veteran who has a congenital hip disease, right?
Yeah.
And so you've had one hip replaced, and it's time to do the other one.
Yeah.
And you're a veteran, so the government needs to go ahead and just make this happen, right?
Yeah, that'd be funny if I wasn't a veteran talking shit about the VA.
yeah. I'm just to clarify.
They wouldn't take me for some reason. I never served, but they wouldn't take me at the front.
Went up there with Blue Cross Blue Shield.
My HMO would cover this.
But really, what's the holdup? What are they telling you? You know, oh yeah, we see you're walking with a cane now, but
like last time I went, like so. I'm trying to meet my orthopedic surgeon, and they'll give me like all these other things, like side quests I had to do. One was I had to get like a dental write-off because like you can't have a certain your dental health has to be good unless something about like you going under and they don't want you dying or some shit. Some
your
weak
dental
shit.
health needs to be okay for the
Yeah.
anesthesia, is what they're saying.
Something like that. I don't know. I had no idea what they were talking about,
Dude,
but I got that.
You know about Parkland Hospital, right? Parkland Hospital is our county hospital here in Dallas. It's like the massive one. There's a new building that they redesigned, but like back in the day, it's the one like they took JFK to when he got shot here.
Oh shit.
Point being, it's like you don't have to have any money to go in there. You just go in there to the emergency room, and if you got shot or whatever, you get operated on, right? And it's like, do all of them have spectacular dental health or something? Like, I don't get what they're saying.
I don't know either. Maybe you could just shoot me in the leg. We'll go to Parkland. It's like, oh, by the way,
Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
How do we rig that up where I can shoot you in the hip with like what kind of gun do we choose first of all? Because we don't want to blow the rest. We don't want to ruin your pelvis or anything.
I think like a nice flesh wound to like my thigh or something.
They just sew you up and they're like, hey, after this, man, you should talk to somebody about the hip.
Yeah, if you take a look at the X-ray, you can see that my hip bone is pretty much grind down to the bone.
Yeah. Well, I can tell. I mean, just the way you're walking, you can tell it's time.
Oh yeah.
So after the dental thing, then what?
And then I had to get like blood tests done. So I remember one time I got the dental thing done, then the blood test, and they're like, all right, cool. In 2 weeks, you get to see your orthopedic surgeon. And I go back, and then they're like, oh, those blood tests are only good for like 1 week, so you got to do the blood test again. I was like, dude, I need to go back to work. I was like, fuck this. And that was like the last time I was there. But I need to start that conversation again, though, because
I guess that's the other part I don't think about is you still have a job that you got to take off to do all this at too, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's the part I always forget. Is like you got bills.
And then the VA is like from like the worst part. It's like in South Dallas, like all the way down. So it's super far from everything.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and you're living up further north now. We don't have to say where, but yeah.
Yeah.
But that's frustrating. See, that's always been. I think we might have talked about it a little bit before, but that's always been my grind with the support our troops, like the. We grew up in 9/11, right? And so we remember all the stickers going on the cars, the magnets and stuff. And I feel like pro-war or pro-military, anti-military, whatever you are, it's like there should just be like a golden card you have, right? Like a golden insurance card.
Yeah.
I think if you're any kind of public servant that could die helping citizens, right? So we could throw in like firefighters, police officers, military, whatever we can add to that where it's like...
Maybe not police officers. I'll take everyone else.
Hey, man, I know it's polarizing, but like... And like there are terrible, terrible, terrible ones. But there still is the good person who could be doing a great thing and still like lose their life, right?
Yeah.
But like any kind of public servant like that, there should just be this gold card that you just show and it's like, oh, great. Which doctor do you want to see? Which hospital do you want to go to? And like we could just get rid of VAs and then just give you those cards and go, yeah, pick your care, And it seems like we have the money and the funds to do that.
Yeah, well, we got to make more F-22s, Travis. So we have no other money anywhere.
Yeah.
But like, if you've never been to a VA, that VA campus is actually super impressive. It's probably the biggest VA I've ever been to. There's like multiple buildings. It's actually a campus. Like it's huge. And when you get to the main campus, it is the biggest handicap parking lot you've ever seen in your life. It's like the size of a Walmart parking lot, but all blue. It's like if you got a sticker, you're like, holy shit, this is heaven, dude. But like, I feel like there's no tier of handicap parking. It's so expansive. It literally goes half the parking lot through is all handicap spots, but like I feel like if you're missing limbs, you got to get like the first. There should be tiered systems.
You should have the blue handicap sticker or like the red one.
Yeah. There's like a rainbow one. It's like this guy needs to get in now. Like,
yeah, because that's also weird too. If you're parking at the back of the handicap lot, is there like a shuttle that comes around for you? You're still like 60 spaces back.
Some guy in a Lime scooter, like, hey, come on, guy.
Yeah. I wish I could remember the comic's name, but they were talking about the Special Olympics. Similar thing, and they're like, they're They're like, when you get to that parking lot, is it just like all handicap, couple really good normal spots up front? Like, is it just flipped around? I wish I could remember the comic. Sorry, whoever that is. But
that's so funny.
Yeah, it's a great bit. And like, I still think about that anytime I see like lots of because you go to some places, there are lots of handicap spots, which is great. But they're still really far from the door.
They're super far.
Yeah. How much have you thought about walking now that you use a cane?
Too much, dude.
Yeah.
Like, if I see stairs, I'm like strategizing how I could go around those stairs and still get to the point. Like it's kind of rough now.
How many years has it been that you're working with this cane?
With this one, with this hip, about a little over 2 years, maybe 3 years now.
Yeah. So like the not that there's like a new exciting part, but like at first you're just kind of dealing with it.
Yeah, at first, and no one.
Now it's just
no one believed
monotonous
me.
and aggravating.
Even Linda at Backdoor didn't believe me. I told her when I first felt this one really started to go under, and I started to use the cane. I'd had a conversation with her because I was kind of newer to the scene, and she started letting me host Backdoor. And Backdoor is special because it's like 12 to 15 comics. You got to go up and down, up and down, up and down. And I would feel it at the end of the night. I'm like, yo, Linda, I'm sorry.
And that's not even a tall stage. It's like what, 3-4 steps?
Yeah, it's 3-4 steps. But like you got to like weave in and out that tiny room, and then go back up, go back down, go back up.
And you're already a tall, big dude, so like it's an extra little layer there. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
So like I had to have a conversation with her. I was like, hey, Linda, I know this sounds fake, but like, can I just get regular spots and not host? Like, can I skip the normal process? And I think it took like maybe a good year of me using the cane around her. It's like, all right, I think he really needs it.
Dang, so Linda's cutthroat, huh? Yeah. She was like, we'll see.
We'll see, yeah. Yeah, it took a good couple of like sidebars, like, yeah, this is actually for real. And then maybe the first couple times she saw me with the cane, she's like, oh, he probably just bought a cane to cover a story or something. But,
yeah. What about normal life outside of comedy? What's the stuff that people don't think about with a cane, or that you didn't think about till you had it?
I think it's like the constant like people just looking at me. I'm already a weird looking guy. I'm already like tall, like maybe Asian, maybe gay. Who the fuck knows this guy? Like just like a weird like gray mix. And then you add a cane on top of that, and like people just look at me. I'm like, oh shit, maybe they like my outfit. I'm like, no. And I had always thinking back, oh, it's because I'm clearly handicapped and I'm struggling to walk right now. Yeah.
Yeah. I let's see, in 2020 or 2021, I can't remember. One of those years, I got Bell's palsy. Have you ever heard of that? Do you know what that is?
Shit.
It's where half your face gets paralyzed randomly for no reason.
Holy shit, dude.
And I only had it for, I think, maybe a month. And so but it's kind of like you had a stroke only on your face. It's literally what it is, I guess. And but yeah, you're talking funny, and it's like my eye wouldn't close. So at some point, I got so sick of it just drying out and all the wind and it getting painful that you're wearing an eye patch. So now I'm wearing an eye patch. My mouth is kind of droopy, and I can't talk normal. And you're just like, that was the first time in my life I'd ever had people just constantly looking at you, and where you would turn and look, and they'd do the quick turn away to not be caught. Yeah. And so yeah, I get it a little bit, but I only had to do that for
So how was your time as Jim Ross? That's
man, it was stressful. Like the little things like eating and drinking food. Drinking water, eating food.
Oh,
like everything had to be a straw. Couldn't just sip out of a can because it would just.
Did it feel like for one entire month you just got home from the dentist's office and you're like, it's weird chewing and like drinking stuff?
Yeah, but you know how when you come home from the dentist office you have that numb feeling? It's like that without the numbness. So like if I did bite my cheek on that side, it's still I felt it a little bit, that kind of stuff. So you're chewing on one side of the mouth, you're trying to figure it out. And then just speaking, it was like you're just constantly kind of like this, like Two-Face from Batman or something.
Nice.
Yeah, it was lame, but I got lucky. Some people they have it for like 3 months, 6 months, and then some people it's permanent. It just stays. But
holy hell, damn, you got lucky then.
Really lucky. Yeah, I got into a doctor like really fast, like that day, and they gave me steroids and I don't know if it's antibiotics or what, because essentially for the Bell's palsy, there's like one nerve that runs through a hole in your skull for that area of your face, and that nerve gets inflamed, and so the hole's kind of like squeezing it, and that's what makes that happen. So, but they don't really know what causes that. So,
I think it's your overexposure to open mics, Travis. Like, I bet you went to an open mic and you were sitting there for 5 hours and someone made you laugh genuinely, and then your face stuck like your mom always told you, like back in the day.
our comedy scene is so good, it will paralyze half your face. Yeah, man, it was crazy. I didn't realize how vain I was until I was worried that it was going to stick that way for my entire life.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like the first time I got a little twitch on my left, or was it my left side? I can't even remember now. I'd have to look at a picture. But I had like a video where I can just see it like barely twitching, and I was like, fuck yes, hell yeah, here we go.
Would you just like constantly look in a mirror just to see if there's like
Constantly.
like a Disney villain or something transitioning?
You know what? You know what's like? It's so stupid talking to a military person about PTSD, but I'm going to do it anyway. But that is my form of PTSD because when it happened to me, I woke up in the morning, to go to work. My morning routine is hop in the shower. Like before I even kick on the lights, I'm taking a shower. And in the shower, like soap's getting in my eye, and I'm thinking I'm just being an idiot and getting soap in my eye, and I can't do it. And then something feels off. I don't even remember exactly what happened, but like I rinse the soap off, I get out and I look in the mirror and I immediately notice like this side of my face isn't moving. I try to like smile and raise my eyebrows and it's not going. And I freak out. I'm thinking I'm not thinking Bell's palsy, I'm thinking stroke. Because that's usually what happens for strokes.
Yeah.
And with strokes, time is like the faster you get to a hospital, the faster you start getting treatment, the less severe your long-term disabled stuff's going to be, right? Like, you need to get there fast. And so I come out to my wife, and I'm like, I'm having a stroke. Completely nude, and it's like weird. Anyway, so we get through all that, but now, like, probably weekly, every week, at least one time in the shower, I feel myself like checking my smile and my eyebrows, and like I'll like look in the mirror when I get out and like make sure everyth's working. I don't know why.
Waterproof clipboard in there. All right, check. Eyebrow check.
Yeah, that, and we were in a home where we had a little spin up where it's like I wish I could remember what there's a certain tornado that happens randomly, unexpectedly. It's very short-lived, and it's at the front of like those squall lines, like when you get a long line of storms coming in. And I think that's what hit our little condo complex we were in, because it ripped the roof off, blew out the windows, tore down some parking structures, but it didn't go outside of our little community. But we're in there while the roof's getting ripped off. So now with like weather, and then I always think I'm having a stroke every week. I check my face all the time. And that's when I was like, man, if that did that to me, like, I can't imagine what bombs going off around you does to you.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Like, Bell's palsy, what a funny name. Like, if you like discovered some like debilitating disease that it just sucks, wouldn't you name it after like maybe your worst enemy? like maybe not Bell's palsy.
John's palsy.
Yeah. Let's call it the Cantrell Sparks disease. That's my high school bully, by the
way. I really offended somebody one time because I was talking to them about cerebral palsy. And I was like, I guess technically I could tell people I've had palsy, right? And they were like, no. I was like, but come on. Like, it's kind of like the disabled thing. It's like, I know there's levels, but I technically had it, right?
Oh, yeah.
But they did not find that funny.
I see people with wheelchairs giving me the fucking, stink guy over here. Like, look at this guy.
There's levels. Yeah. I mean, do you still think about that, though? Like, at least I'm not in a wheelchair.
Sort of. But, like, I don't know. I think I have too much pride to be in a wheelchair. Like, I would have to, like, not be able to, like, stand to be in a wheelchair.
Well, you still got levels before you get there. You got cane, and then there's like the walker, the one that you can like sit on if you need to, that kind of stuff. But they gotta fix it before it gets to walker and wheelchair, right?
Oh, definitely. Like, like I used to have a walker. So like when you get your hip done, you can't move. Like this leg is like locked pretty much. So I had to have a walker after it. It was kind of it was humbling for sure. Like after the first hip surgery, but did I tell you like? The hip surgery I got at the VA in the last podcast interview.
I can't remember. Go ahead though. It's been so long,
dude. So like, I'm not saying the VA is the best. It's just free. Okay, like it's a good option because you don't have to pay anything. You might have to wait longer, but this is just an example of why certain veterans like to shit on the VA. So like, I'm there for my hip surgery. I just got it done. The first night I'm there for like 5 overnights. They have to make sure like, there's no bubbles or whatever in the blood, and, get initial PT and get me out in a week. So the first night I'm there, I complained to the overnight nurse. I'm like, hey, like my ass is like really sore in my back. Like, is there anything we can do? Like, I don't know what's happening. I can't get up right at this point, so I can't like roll over and check what's going on. And then she's like, hey, it's the VA. We're in Philly. Like, the mattresses are probably like 30 years old. I'm like, you know what? That makes total sense. The next night, different nurse, right? So I'm complaining to her. I'm like, hey, so like I talked last night to the nurse, and she says probably the mattresses, but I'm pretty sore. And she looks at the thing, she touches the mattress, she's like, oh, your mattress isn't inflated. So I was on a metal slab for over 24 hours. And this is like just like why people like to avoid the VA even though they have it. But I'm like, I don't need to pay premiums. I don't give a shit.
Dude. You know what, though? You're looking at it the wrong way. And this is just me becoming elderly and bitching about stuff. But you're not getting it for free. How long were you in the military?
Oh, that's true. 9 years.
9 years, man. You paid 9 years.
Yeah.
That and that's some of the stuff I get grumpy about is it's like, I don't know what was going on with the first nurse. I don't know who knows, right? Everybody misses things. Everybody makes mistakes. But could we also just make that part of the check of like, let's just look at the mattress first.
Yeah, let's touch it
before
maybe.
we say like, nah, it's just a shitty mattress. Like, check on it. Just look at it. Like add a little quality into it. Whereas the second one, it's like that's the first thing they check. They're like, well, let's see the mattress. Well, it's not inflated.
Yeah, it's completely deflated. I was like on a metal slab.
Yeah, with your already injured hip. Yeah. Support the troops.
Yeah, dude.
Just not with a mattress.
Oh, they were the worst. Absolutely. And then like, I remember, so I'm meeting with this orthopedic surgeon for this first surgery, and they use doctors from UPenn to do orthopedic surgery, which is like an Ivy League school in Philly. So I'm like, oh, this is awesome. They got the best doctors, right? So I'm meeting with this guy. I had like 2 or 3 meetings with them. We're talking about the surgery, the actual implant they're going to use, like what the procedure that they're going to use to go in. And then the day of the surgery, right? Like they what do you call it? They put the thing up my dick. Like, what is
catheter?
That? The catheter.
Yeah.
So they cathetered me. I'm like ready to go. I'm like naked. They shaved me up.
They did that before you went under?
Huh? Yeah. So like they did all that shit, and then
can't they lay you on the bed, get you under anesthesia, and throw the catheter in?
That would be nice.
I mean, come on.
That was like one of the things I was most afraid of for my surgery. I was like, how is this? And I just had to be like, fuck it. Like I'm already in so much pain. So we get there, and I didn't know that surgery rooms never evolved beyond like 1893. Because like we get there, and it looks like they still use the sun as a like. There's like this big like strip. It might just be because the VA sucks, but like there's like this metal table and all these like fucking like just tools all around it. I felt like I was either gonna get surgery or like this is like some serial killer, and there's like I'm gonna chop me up and shit.
Yeah,
but And then I shake hands with my doctor, and then I shake hands with the doctor next to him, and he looked like some 28-year-old kid. And he's like, yeah, so this guy's going to be doing your surgery today. I'm like, fuck, I'm already here. Like, it's like the fucking...
Hi, Mr. Smith.
Yeah. Dude, it's like, holy shit, man. It's like they fucking like, they pulled a rug under for me, and I was like, fuck, I'm already here. Like, I'm prepped. I'm ready to go. Let's just get this kid. But like...
They already shaved me.
Dude, every time I feel something wrong with this hip, I'm like, that motherfucking kid.
It was that young guy.
I was probably some fucking like midterm exam for that asshole, you know? He didn't give a shit, you know?
Oh, man. Yeah, that's a wild experience, right? Did you look up any of the videos of what was going to happen to you before you had surgery?
I was all deep in it, dude.
Do you think that made it better or worse?
Probably worse.
Yeah, where they're talking about like we're going to cut this whole top part off.
Yeah, like move the muscle aside and get through. I'm like, oh, God. It I don't know. And the weird thing, too, was because, like, at that time, I wasn't even 40. I was, like, 38. And everything I looked up, every piece of content around hip surgery, they just had, like, this geriatric-looking dude, like posing with next to his geriatric wife. And it's always, like, it's all these time frames that are suitable for, like, people in their, like, 60s or 70s. Like, it's going to take 8 months of grueling physical therapy. It took me, like, 2 weeks, dude. It took me, like, 2 weeks, and I could, like, walk without a cane. And then, like, it was just, like, the timelines are all skewed because, like, it's very rare for someone this young to have that procedure done.
One of the things I never thought about till I'd learned like a lot about hip replacements, surprisingly, and it's the little things too, like your legs are a certain length, and they need to like make sure that leg is the same length as you started with.
Yes.
And they could throw your shit off if they have it like, oh, sorry, it's like a half inch too short now. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, it's like those little details you don't think about.
It changed my gait too a
Did
little
it?
bit. Yeah. So like this leg kind of goes, the replacement leg kind of goes in more than my natural like positioning for my hips. And I fucking blame that kid. He should have known, you know, maybe a little bit more experience under his belt.
Do you tell the new doctor that this leg feels wonky and maybe they can like counter it?
Yeah, it's like, hey, like I don't know if there's like some Costco warranty. I could just walk in with the receipt.
Do you feel like now that you've been going through this for so long that like do you think of yourself like, oh, I'm the cane guy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. Yeah. And I feel like the newer comics are probably like, who the fuck is this guy? You know, like
Yeah, kind of like I was talking to Sylvia. What last name is she using now?
I don't know, dude.
Is it Bateman? Was that her?
I think it's Bateman, McBateman.
I don't know. Anyway, Sylvia. She's the only Sylvia we have around here. But same thing where it's like, are you just the mom comic? Is that how people? Because you have like 4 or 5 kids, right? And she, you know, but yeah. What? I mean, you got to be looking forward to getting rid of this and that not being a part of your identity anymore.
Yeah, dude. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I still do well with the cane on stage because, you know, I had to make my act revolve around it. But, like, I thought I was better without the cane.
Really?
You know? Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, like, at least, like, I don't know, like, energy-wise. Like, of course, I think I've gotten chops because, like, it's been, like, 2 or 3 years. But I feel like without the cane, I could do a little better because my style is a little bit more in your face and a little bit more like aggressive.
Yeah, but I wonder if your style would have naturally evolved to less in your face, less aggressive just by being in comedy longer, or if you felt like that's your style.
It's just my style.
You think
dude.
so?
Yeah, and I don't know, like a lot of my stuff kind of revolves around that. So like I guess I just had to adapt it to like angry dude with cane as opposed to just angry dude.
Yeah. Because I remember how you come out on stage a couple times that I've seen you. You definitely can't do that right now.
No.
What was when you first got back on the cane though? Did you try to hit those same marks on? Like, did you go up on stage with that, trying to do that same thing?
Yeah, I did, and then I was like, you know what, fuck, I got to just address this immediately, and then get that out the way. And it just it works. It's wonky with my stage mechanics. I'm like a big. I think we went into this in the last one, but I'm a huge stickler for stage mechanics. Like, like, you know, mic positioning. Like, is it in the stand? If it's not, where's the stand? You know, like, where are you positioning the stage? Are you engaging the audience? So, like, with that, it is so much harder because, like, I have to go up and it's like wonky interaction. Take the mic out. Typically, when I first start, like without it, I like to keep the mic in for a little bit, do a couple of things, and then take the mic out, do my act. But like now, I had to take it out because I have to have it with me. Because like I can't just have like these 2 things be, you know.
What about using the mic stand as your cane? Up there? I'm serious. You ever tried?
That'd be hilarious.
You know, where you just like kind of set it aside, but you're just kind of using that as you're going around. You know what though? Actually, the thing that would happen, right, is you'd get that one mic stand that's loose.
Yeah.
And when it slid in, you would just go full forward into the audience. Yeah.
I had to play it off like that's part of my act.
I thought I had a slick idea. That's a terrible idea. It's a terrible idea.
I do see some comics do that. They'll descend the whole thing down and just lean on it like that.
Oh, I haven't seen that. Is it weird or does it work?
It's like not cane users, like actual just
kind of leaning on it,
just
right?
leaning on it like it was a cane or something.
Yeah. Did it work? Did it look okay? Or
I thought it looked weird.
Yeah, that feels like a really overconfident move on stage. Yeah. I don't know, but I watch that. Even though I don't perform, I like watching that a lot. How people's, you know, the spatial awareness on the stage where they put things and stuff.
Yeah.
Even in you know, when we shot Lawrence's special, it's like when we went back to editing, he didn't pull the stand far enough back to the wall. So there's a couple shots.
Frame?
Yeah, well, there's a couple shots where I wanted to use like a different camera angle, but he's standing right behind the mic stand. It's just like right in his face, and I was like, "Damn it!" But you know, him and I, that's the first one we'd done. We're both still learning stuff. Like it didn't mess anything up. Really, it's just like I would have preferred this angle, but it was just little things. And I told him about it later, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll start throwing that at the back now." Like, all right.
And it made hosting really difficult too, because like you kind of have to have that interaction with the different comics, shake the
handshake. Yeah.
Sometimes headliners want there's like different things present before they go up. Like I want my. Can you make sure to bring the stool up to the front of the stage, something like that, or. At Hyenas, if they did blowjob shots, it was fucking hard as shit to get the shots and off and trying to do something,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess I forget about that. And then just like, do you even take a drink on stage anymore?
No, I don't think I ever did. I just
but not even like a bottle of water, right? It's just one more thing to fumble with, right?
Yeah, and I feel like if you're an opener, you're doing like 10 to 15. Like, there's no reason to have a fucking drink up there. Like, if your mouth is gonna get parched after that amount of time, just quit comedy, dude.
Well, but people bring that up there unknowingly as just a crutch.
Yeah, I have 2 crutches now.
Yeah, like they need to hold something or go to something every now and then. But
I feel like openers, dude. Like, you gotta go boom, boom, boom.
Mm-hmm.
If you're taking a sip of a drink out of your 10 minutes, you're trash. Like, you gotta go in there, boom, 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 boom. Now, if you're featuring, you're doing 25 to 30, you got more time to play with. Like, that's when I feel like you can start bringing a drink up there and sipping, because like you kind of don't want them to be all the way up because they'll just burn out. So like there'll be times where you can just calm down with the drink.
I didn't think, again, my old age, I'm getting older. I didn't think I would be in my mind like noticing those things and bitching about it. But the person holding the beer the entire set, now I'm just like, put your beer down. Even if they're an incredible comic, I'm just like, put that down. You're not. To me, it looks like they're just trying to be like, yeah, I'm cool.
Yeah,
I party. Yeah, I'm here. No matter how funny the joke is, I'm looking at that beer bottle.
Yep, it's distracting. So like, it happens at open mics a ton. Like, and they'll just be up there for 3 to 5 minutes, and with their drink in their hand, it's like, why, dude? Like, this is literally practice, So you should just get all that bad behavior or bad mechanics like out of your system at open mics.
Yeah, it's the drink, right? And it's the obsessive, like looking at the phone or the notebook.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Those things. Like you said, I understand maybe you're trying out some new stuff. You lost your place. You got to take a quick peek. Fine. But when they're doing the whole, like, let's see. I'm like, get off the stage. But yeah, again, I'm just getting bitter and hating on things that don't really affect my day.
There's one, so a buddy of mine, he has a bad tick on stage. I think a lot of comics are aware of like their little stage ticks, but he's very self-aware of it, and he'll remain nameless, so I don't want to blow up his spot. But anyway, David Diaz has this weird weird tick where he has to touch the stool.
Oh,
right. So
I can picture him doing it too.
He either leans on it or like touches it, right? And then I remember this was a couple years back. He was doing a spot at the Improv, like 10 minutes. So I counted every time he touched or interacted with the stool. It was like 28 times in 10 minutes.
Really?
It was insane. Yeah.
At least that one's not horribly distracting.
Yeah.
If you do it just right. But yeah, I can picture his little signature David J. Diaz lean.
Oh yeah, he does it all. Now you'll won't be able to unsee it, dude.
And now everybody who goes to watch him will watch that. Just give him a rule next time. Just be like, I'm going to give you 5 touches, and then I'm walking up and taking it away, and then you'll know.
I think he's tried to actually work on it, but it's just like it's his comfort thing.
I haven't watched him recently, but I remember his style would be okay with that though.
Yeah,
because he has more of those. Like, he'll take the pauses, he'll wait a minute, so that could be a nice little filler that works for him. But yeah, if you're talking about almost 30 times, that's interesting. Yeah. So you said you were working on material around this era of your life, because I talked to you about that a long time ago, saying like, I would love for you to shoot 20 minutes or something after you get it fixed.
Oh yeah,
about this time in your life.
I think I got maybe a good like 10 solid. I usually start up with like the Kane stuff up top, and depending on the length of the set, it'll be about half of it.
Is it hard to write about that? Because it's not something everyone's going to relate to, right?
Yeah,
it's
really.
Different.
It's more like an extended "I look like" period, kind of where you kind of point out like these weird things about yourself. You know? But it's fun. I think it gets the first like 6 months I started using Kane. It was very difficult because like you're doing like club weekends and you're trying to stay at that level of like engagement and performance, but at the same time you're writing new material up top. But I feel like I have it down now where like it's nice. It's a good flow into the rest of my set again.
Have you thought about approaching some of that material from kind of that meta view of everything you've kind of talked about, of like just getting up and down the stairs to the stage, trying to go from like the funniness of that, because that's kind of what I'm interested about, is when the first time you started using this Cane again, little things like when you wake up in the morning, you're going to the bathroom, you're going to the kitchen, you're getting breakfast, getting in your car, all the little inconveniences of like, I've got to carry this stick with me all the time.
Yeah.
Rather than just the lookalikes, you know. That's kind of what I'd be interested in is all the little day-to-days I don't think about, you know.
I
checking
used
the
to-
mail. Like, have you
yeah.
ever thought about writing down every little inconvenience you have with it throughout a day?
I probably should.
Just to see what's there?
Yeah, I probably should. Like, I used to start with, but like this would be hit or miss. But if it hit, it'll be good. But like, you know, like going up the stairs and like, you know, thanking everything and get the show started, and then be like, you know, thank you for coming out to, you know, let's use hyenas for example. But you know, it's a shame that I'm going to hit them with the lawsuit for no handrail over here. Like, what's going on? These monsters,
Yeah.
no ADA compliance. You know. But
Yeah, man.
it used to work. It used to not work. So like, I try to get to a more universal, like, you know, here we go. Let's start this way. But yeah, that's a good. I'll take that into consideration.
I don't
for
know.
Sure.
It might be bad advice.
No, I think it's good advice for sure.
I've noticed I always love. I'm noticing that I really enjoy very like comedy that's hyper specific to the person. I don't know. Do you like Andrew Schultz? Have you watched his most recent special?
Not a huge fan.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
He's hit or miss with people. But what I loved about his most recent one, he's got kind of his signature Schultz, you know, rip off the Band-Aid kind of. He's kind of a shock value guy sometimes. But his whole special, the most recent one, Life, was talking about his experience with him and his wife trying to conceive a child and how he's, well, I don't want to ruin too much of the special. But anyway, they were having trouble.
Well, I won't watch it, so just keep going.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, he's going into like, he had all this bravado and manliness about like, oh, you're ready for a baby? Let's go. I'll give you a baby and blah, 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 and all that. And then it turns out he's the one with sperm that doesn't work. And
Nice.
so he, you know, it's like her insecurities, his insecurities, and then a whole process of actually conceiving a child and all the stuff within it. But it's just this thing that, honestly, unless you have a kid or you've kind of gone through that, I don't know if it's going to hit you as hard. But I think the people that have gone through that, it hits it so good. That
Yeah.
it's so funny.
Yeah.
And it still had just enough, you know, the cringy one-liners and things that are like, you know, that it wasn't like a TED Talk about fertility. But it was good. You know, I've noticed I like that stuff. You know, I loved how, like in Lawrence's thing, he goes deep into his relationship with his grandma, and you're talking about this kind of deep things for a minute before you bring it back to dumb comedy, you know? So I don't know. I've just realized that that's a style that I enjoy.
Yeah, I feel like this is like a hacky way, but like I feel like that's like a very Western problem, like maybe a white problem, if you will. Because
Fertility?
Like, if you try to ever have a kid with a Mexican lady, it's like instant, dude. It's like so like you gotta be like stocked up on Plan Bs. Like if you date a Mexican chick, dude, it's nuts. Like I remember. When we had our kid with me and my ex-wife, it was like she got off of birth control and immediately she was pregnant. It was like boom. It was like we didn't have to like check her ovulations or cycles or anything like that.
Yeah, dude. I wonder if any because that's what was funny. He was actually talking about that. He was talking about how he had the reverse thing where if he had realized how hard it was to get a woman pregnant. Like that, it's like, dude, I never would have used a condom in my entire life. Like he was talking about, he's
That's
like, we were tracking it with the app, doing all. He's like, knew if it was a science experiment, like how hard it was, you know. So pretty clever. But I wonder if anybody's ever done studies on why cultures get pregnant easier or not as easy. You know,
No idea.
that's
dude.
wild because those stereotypes they do slam. I mean, they're so true.
Yeah,
You know, it's like, what's the deal? Like, why?
very fertile people.
Yeah. What makes a culture more fertile?
It's probably the quality of food. Is the better the food, the more fertile you are.
Yeah, but you're not talking better, healthier. You're talking about
better,
delicious.
delicious.
Yeah.
Well,
You're
that
happier.
doesn't-
You're relaxed.
Yeah, I don't think that works because like Korean food is very good, but they have a terrible fertility issue right now. Actually,
Really? Koreans?
Yeah, they have. I think they're. Man, it's like 0 point something childs per household now, like 0.5.
But is that a cultural, I don't want children, or is it fertility, I'm trying to have children and can't?
I think it's like both.
Yeah.
Like I think people are just not trying to have kids over there anymore.
When was the last time you went back to Korea?
It's been 10 years.
10 years? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's probably a totally different Korea than you remember,
Oh,
too. right?
absolutely. Like,
that place is changing. It's always in the future over there.
It's always changing. Like even if you go like a year later, it's like everywhere is changing. It's constantly evolving.
Dude, when you feel like you can walk everywhere again, I want to go to Korea with you.
Dude, that'd be awesome.
You know, like go with someone who speaks and like knows enough of the culture where that's always my fear if you travel internationally is just, first of all, I don't really know where to go. Like I want to do some of the tourist stuff, but not all the tourist stuff. You know?
You want to kind of taste like the actual culture.
Yeah, like I don't want to go into an underground poker room, but I want to. I want to eat at a good neighborhood restaurant.
Bring your Bell's palsy eye patch with you. Go on some adventures.
If I shave my head back down, I used to buzz it all the time. I've got a huge scar on the back of my head from where I had a surgery. So, like with the scar and the eye patch, I might look like a shady enough character. And then with you coming in, how tall are you? 6'3"?
Yeah.
Yeah, you coming in looking like my muscle, you know? We might be able to take some people.
Oh, hell yeah.
Now, I just know I got to learn how to play poker well.
Dude, Korea's fun because, like, there's no guns.
Yeah.
0 guns. And it's like, and you're bigger than everybody. Like, so, like, you just I felt the safest I ever did in my life, you know? Like, and it's just, everything is 24/7 over there. Like the bars, there's restaurants next to the bars. Everything's open all hours of the night. The metro is fantastic. It's literally like the worst place to go if you're like a recovering alcoholic, because like that's all Koreans do is drink all the time.
Where would you go? What part of Korea?
I would, if we were going on a trip, of course we had to go to Seoul.
Okay.
Probably like different parts of Seoul, like Gangnam or Apgujeong is like very Beverly Hills. Like there's like Korean celebrities, like Oppa Gangnam style is about that area of Seoul.
Okay.
And here's like an interesting tidbit of that video. I know that video went viral, like billions of views or whatever. But I feel like everyone that wasn't Korean just watched that video, was like, yo, that's actually like just like the craziest, like, you know, NPCs or whatever in the video. Every person in that video was a huge megastar in Korea. Every single one was like a cameo. Like if you watch it from a Korean perspective, you're like, holy shit, they got this guy, that guy, that. And for that time, it was like a perfect time capsule of like, you know, stardom in Korea.
That's nuts, man. The more I learn about that what's the artist's name again?
Psy.
Yeah. Like you'll still see him selling out stadiums. That clip where he's like launching onto the stage and the whole stadium's just going nuts. And it's so nuts. Like one song,
dude. One song.
But also he owns it. Like he's not trying to be more than that one song. He's like, this is what I do. This song. If you want it, I'm giving you 150% of this song. But yeah, I had no idea. I wonder how he got all those famous people on board with just a one-hit wonder.
Well,
like
Korea, it's like geographically just way smaller, you know. So like, I feel like the industries there, like, you know, people just know people much better because like it's like a smaller landscape overall. Yeah. So they probably have like decent relationships with everybody. But
okay, but Korea is Korea. How do you think Korea is to the size of Texas? Are we fitting Korea in Texas?
No. It's the size of Indiana, I believe, land-wise.
Okay.
Which is a real weird way to teach Westerners, like, you know, the geography or something. Because I was like, when they taught me that in Korean school, I was like, what the fuck is Indiana? Like, I'd never even been, I can't visualize that, but like, you know, I guess like a middle state. But.
Okay, but that's still wild, right? Because if you think, okay, we're here in Dallas, and you're coming out, you're about to have a mega comedy special. And so you want the heavy hitters in Texas to be on your thing, right? So we're going to maybe we get Ralph Barbosa. He's a Dallas boy. You guys have history. Maybe he pops in there, right? But it would kind of be like, okay, we're also going to go down to Austin because that can fit. Dallas to Austin fits in Indiana, right?
I think so.
Okay,
yeah.
And then we're like, so we're going to get like Joe Rogan and we're going to get all those dudes, and they're going to do cameos too. It's like, that's still insane.
That is insane.
That you wouldn't really know them incredibly well or at all even. And you could get them to go like, hey, I'm going to have this one hit, and we just need you guys in the music video or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, of course. That sounds great. Let's do it. Yeah.
Then we'll probably do Seoul, and then we'll do like some stuff in between, like smaller cities. But then, of course, we're going to take the literal train to Busan.
Yeah.
Down to Busan.
I was going to ask you, it's a train state or a country, right?
Yeah, it's a train, but also like buses and subways are incredibly efficient. Like there's the subway line in Seoul, and Seoul is huge. Seoul is probably like the size of the Metroplex.
Yeah.
It's like a bunch of smaller cities put together. But you could take the subway pretty much to anywhere.
Love that.
In that Metroplex. It's insane. It also hooks up to other cities. So you could take the subway. When I was stationed in Osan was like in a city called Songtan, like 50 clicks south. You could take the subway from there to Seoul. Like,
that's awesome.
All subway lines.
I definitely want to do the, like I would love to spend, you know, a full day on a train above ground where you see like the countryside of of the country on your way to another big city, you know.
Yeah, we'll take the bullet train though.
You know, because it's like you're going like everything's so far away and you're going just slow enough that you actually get to kind of see it rather than, you know, on a plane you don't really get to see much. In a car, it's like you're kind of stuck on the highway. You don't really get scenery, you know.
Yeah, the bullet train is a nice mix of that. It's faster, but you get to see all that shit.
Yeah.
So like if you drive from Seoul to Busan, it takes like 5 or 6 hours. Train, it takes like 6 or 7. Bullet train takes 2.5. So like it cuts a ton of travel.
Believe it or
time.
not, I would probably love that 6 or 7 hour train ride. I don't know, man. It just seems kind of like take a nap, wake up, check out some more scenery out the window. Again, I'm getting old, man. This sounds like a good trip.
I remember.
I'm gonna start booking cruises to Alaska or something.
Are you familiar with like Korean snacks at all? They're weirder. They're like, every culture has weird snacks.
Yeah, like really the only other snacks I know are like the Hispanic snacks where they're like sweet and spicy.
Oh,
that
yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah, I feel so like there's like different things. Like they'll come with a cart and it has a bunch of Korean snacks on it. And I remember one of the first times I took my GI friends down to Busan, the cart came by and they're like, yo, what should I get? What should I get? I was like, well, I like the banana milk, whatever. He got banana milk and he like crushed that thing. It's like a banana flavored milk.
Okay.
And he was like, dude, that shit was so good. I'm so glad it wasn't actual milk because like I have lactose intolerance. And I was like, it is actual milk. Like, he was like, oh, I just thought it was a juice or some sort of artificial thing they did just call banana milk. I was like, no, son, it's actual milk that's flavored like fake bananas. And he was like, he had to like shit the whole fucking time on the way down, dude.
Here I was waiting for you to do this thing where it's like, but because of our farm system and the way we grow, like, he actually didn't have lactose intolerance.
It fucked him up.
I thought you were about to school us on like American factory farming or something.
No, and then from that point on, everything like a ridiculous, someone said something ridiculous or something ridiculous happened, we called it banana milk. From that point, it was like it became like an inside joke after that.
What are the snacks overall kind of like?
It's weird. It's like, there's a lot of seafood flavor snacks.
That's weird.
Yeah, a lot of
like what? Like a cracker that tastes like a fish, or what do you mean?
Yeah, dude. So like it's called saeukgang. It's like shrimp chips, and then like it's probably one of the most famous snacks, but they look like little sticks, like little
You know what? You know why I actually know this? I don't even know if this is going to be offensive or not, but there's a movie called The Wish Dragon. And it's this animated movie. It's a kid's movie, and he's got this dragon. You like rub on the lamp, the dragon comes out. But the dragon is like obsessed with the shrimp chips,
dude.
Because he's from a long time ago. I think it was more Chinese though. But he's like, what are these shrimp chips? And it's like that's all he wants now.
Dude, it's
that's weird, shrimp chips. But I guess that makes sense. Who doesn't like crunchy, salty kind of tasting foods?
Yeah, and it has like a little like seafood flavor, not a ton, but like of course like I'm like used to it. Like I remember, so in the military when they teach you languages, it doesn't matter what you are, you're in that language school. And my roommate was learning Korean too. He was in my class. And I went to the Korean store and brought back some shrimp chips, some saeukgang, and like I opened it up. I'm like playing like computer games or whatever. I'm eating them. He's like, "Yo, what the fuck smells like pussy over here, man? Like it smells like straight up veg, bro." I was like, "Dude, relax. It's like
it's just my chips."
Yeah, immerse yourself culturally, all right?
And what's wrong with that flavor?
Yeah, I know, dude.
I mean,
like,
come on.
What are you, gay?
Oh man, yeah, that sounds exciting. What do you think is like the must do? Like if you're going to take somebody over there from Texas,
I think. Well, we have to try. So like, there's like different cities that have different foods that they're famous for, and like smaller cities. So Seoul is like they have a whole bunch of shit. But I'll probably take you to like my favorite samgyeopsal place in Seoul. It's samgyeopsal is like the pork belly.
Okay.
And they have like different marinades to put the pork belly in. And then I'll take you down to like around where my base was. And they're most famous for something called budae-jjigae, which is like military stew. Like during the Korean War, they didn't have a lot, so they put all the GI rations into a pot with kimchi and made a stew out of it. And it's actually a famous dish in Korea. But like the best place to have that is right outside my old military base. And then I'll take you down to Suwon for Suwon's favorites for kalbi, like the short ribs. And then Busan. Busan is...
This just sounds like other versions of Texas meals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you're talking about stews and barbecues and these things. Yeah.
But with like an Asian-y twist.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Like you're using what you have around here.
Yeah. But Busan is my favorite city because like it's nestled. It's in like it's on the shores on the southeastern tip. So there's beach, but there's also mountains to the north, and so it's very beautiful. It's much cleaner than Seoul. The seafood is amazing down there. So like we'll have to try like the seafood around there. Our version of sashimi is called hue. It's like they just chop it up live right there, and there's like serve it to you.
I hate sashimi though.
Okay, good. Because I hate it too. I was gonna take you if you liked it, but
We can pass on that.
all right, cool.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
just gonna eat steaks.
I'm good with that. Yeah, I mean, I like fish. Like I like salmon, mahi, those types of things. But I've never been a huge seafood person.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? That's kind of where I'm
Like
at.
the raw, like
Not
like,
into it.
I see
like
the poke
cooked
bowl
meats.
places coming out. I'm like, I don't know how these sustain business wise. Like,
My wife would probably want to check it out, but I'm not down.
but there's like weird shit you can eat in Korea.
Are they more? Is it more of a savory culture or spicy culture? Like when we're talking about food,
when you go out, it's more like savory, spicy. But like when people just eat normally, it's like they have just like a lot of like. If you ever go to a Korean restaurant, you got those bunch of side dishes. That's usually like how people eat at home, just normally. But when you go out, it's when you spend the big bucks and you get like the Korean barbecue or like different special things. But it's typically like at home, you just have like a soup.
Yeah.
Like a savory soup, and then like pickled like vegetables for side dishes.
I can do
and some
that.
rice.
Dude, I'm a big soup eater. I
love soup.
Love a good soup, man.
Dude, all right, I need to take you to my favorite Korean spots here then, because
Okay.
my favorite ones have good soups.
Well, I was going to ask you how they add up around here because DFW. It's like we have such a huge mix of cultures that there's got to be some good Korean spots,
There's some
authentic
good.
Korean spots.
There's
right?
some good, yeah. There's one off of Royal. I think Royal has the best Korean food.
Royal and what?
God, I forget, but it's like old Koreatown. It's like where you'll see like a bunch
Is that
of
like
Korean
West
shit.
Dallas or East Dallas?
I think it's West because
Okay.
it was kind of close to me when I lived in Grapevine. So I think it's
Okay,
like
okay.
West. But there's a place called Taodongnae. It means like Moon Village or whatever. Something like super Asian sounding.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we descended from the moon or some shit. But it's like a very Korean style, very humble inside, like, not pretentious, but they have very, very good soups and stews.
Okay. Yeah, you'd think those places would be going off in the winter around here too.
Oh, yeah. But I like to keep it that way. Like, I like to like not tell too many people.
Sure.
You
Yeah,
keep
good
the
thing you're not
secret.
saying it on like a podcast. Or
Yeah,
anything. Yeah.
but like it's like I don't know, like that's like how I gauge good Korean food is like how many Koreans are inside.
Yeah. I mean, now I get like heartburn issues getting old, but I love spicy, so it's like I'll just knock back a bunch of Tums and still take the spicy. But that's how I would talk to them. I'd be like, I want it hot, and and they'd be like, okay, and I'm like, but not like the white guy hot, like hot. And they're like, they give me that look, like, you sure? And I'm like, please, yeah, I love it. It's delicious, man. I like spicy.
Hell yeah.
I don't know if I would do it in another country of fear of like freaking out that my heartburn's getting like out of control.
Oh,
I don't
dude.
know.
You got to try buldak in Korea. It's chicken feet, but they make it spicy as fuck, dude.
Dude, again, when you say chicken feet, are we just in the South here in the United States? What are you talking about?
Yeah, dude, it's weird.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, dude, that place does really good stews, soups. There's been times where I went to like Korean places in Carrollton, and then like I got met by a hostess that wasn't Korean. I just walked out. I'm like, this is gonna fucking suck, dude. Like, like I don't even care if you can't speak Korean. If you're not Korean, I'm like leaving, dude.
Yeah, I do the same thing if I see white people in the kitchen at any restaurant. In Texas, it's like, we don't hire white people for the kitchens. What are you doing? Come on.
Dude.
Come
Like,
on.
Everyone knows Mexicans cook the best. All
Yeah,
right? They
yeah.
can cook any cuisine.
Yeah, if you go into a Chinese place and there's a Mexican guy back there, you're like, all right,
It's gonna be dope.
it'll be all right. It'll
Yeah.
be good. Yeah. No, we do have some Asian restaurants around our area where you walk in and you can tell like it's a family that's running it, and you're like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
This is going to be, they got some grandma's secret for this or something.
There's a Tex-Mex place in Plano called El Pueblito.
Okay.
It's probably my favorite Tex-Mex. Like it's legit. Like you
Is
go
it,
inside.
is it in that downtown Plano area or is it somewhere else?
It's kind of I think kind of like towards Allen, like more north, north Plano. But it's so good. It is so good. I took my girl there. She likes it.
There's like a perfect area for killer restaurants of any ethnicity, right? You don't want it in like the most happening spot, right? You don't want it on like whatever that downtown square is in any city. But you also don't want it like on the weird outskirts. It needs to be in like the nicer shopping strip.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not the
decent.
rundown shitty one. Like the one where it looks like things are still clean, but they also are concerned about like, I'm not paying high rent. You know?
Yeah.
Those are usually the ones that are just the best.
Yeah, and because I'm on a cane, the parking has to be good too. Like
Yeah.
dude, Deep Ellum, like if I'm there, I'll try something out like already, but I'm not gonna drive to Deep Ellum and try some new shit out.
Yeah, well, Deep Ellum, I've lived here my whole life, so I've seen the ups and downs of Deep Ellum, and we're on a big up. And I can't tell yet, are we going to stay up or are we about to hit that next downturn in Deep Ellum where it gets real scarce and violent again? And, it just goes in those waves. But
Wait, it's not considered violent right now? There's like shootings there like all the time.
That's what I'm saying. We're at this point where like, which way are we going?
Yeah.
If it tips more, we're going back down to scary Deep Ellum. The only thing that makes it strange is this is the first time I've seen it in my life where there's been this injection of so much money, from bigger, businesses, corporations who are opening up spots. That doesn't mean those spots are going to last, though, right? That just means they've infused that money in. But this is the first big investment I've seen in my lifetime. And maybe like some old Deep Ellum people are like, no, this happened in '93 or something. But that's the only thing I wonder. But it has lost. There's not a Deep Ellum community feel anymore. Deep Ellum is a place where people just descend on, right?
Yeah.
Where DCC is one of the few places where that feels like a community hang. When you go in there, you see a lot of similar people all the time, right? And that's good. And then they also have a mix of people who will come in off the street to check it out. So that's one of the spots that still feels like a community thing. But the music venues, I feel like none of those music venues are thriving like they used to in the past.
Like further down Elm.
Yeah,
like
because I don't know that there's that hang at these other places where people are like, you got to go. I think that's only at maybe some of the spots that are more like club-like. And those usually don't help the neighborhood like last a long time.
Yeah.
Because they've put apartments down there. They're turning it into more of a neighborhood, which is good. But I don't know. I mean, do you find yourself going down there to hang without doing sets very often?
Absolutely not.
Right.
Like if I'm there already, for
Parking
comedy,
sucks.
Yeah.
That's the only downside to DCC, right? If we could find some way to get them a parking lot right across the street in that empty lot,
Oh my God,
it
that
would
would be amazing.
I feel like that's the only thing that even holds them back at all. And I don't think they're being held back. I think they're doing really well. But if I was explaining to someone who's never heard of this and they were going to go down there, that's probably the only thing they would worry about is parking, right?
Yeah, dude. It's like it's just very difficult. Like it's hard to find the cheap parking around there and like the hidden spots that
once you
hidden.
know, it's not so bad,
Yeah.
right? Because I have those, right? I come down my certain streets and I'm like, I'm going to check here, here, and here before I pay for a meter.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's getting like more and more difficult now every time we go down to DCC.
You feel like it's violent down there now?
Not towards. I think DCC is at the very end of Elm, where it's not. You don't really see it that much. But I'm sure, like, if you ask the staff, they probably saw some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
look, it's I hate even saying it out loud because it sounds just like stereotyped racism, but it is more of like down by Malcolm X.
yeah.
It's like, I'm sorry, that's just the street name, and it just happens to have a ton of activity.
Was that the Chris Rock joke when he's like, the most violent places are like MOK and Malcolm X?
Yes,
Boulevard?
exactly. But literally, that's where they're blocking it off right now for foot traffic only, right? And so it just happens to be the area that's crowded.
Yeah.
And those are the areas with the bars that are getting packed out right till 2 a.m. and everybody's getting out of the streets. It just happens to be on that street. But you know what's nuts to me though is love Dallas, and like I love living in Dallas, and I'm thankful to the Dallas cops because I've never been pulled over for speeding, and I speed everywhere.
Really?
Everywhere.
Dude.
Whereas like if I went up to Plano or Allen, we're following the speed limit. I'm not I know
Also
enough.
in Dallas, like you go nuts.
Dallas proper, no cop has ever even looked at me twice. You'll go by them speeding and you're like, oh crap. And they don't even, nothing. No lane change. They don't get behind you for a mile or anything. Nothing. And it's probably because they're underpaid and understaffed and they just don't want to deal with this nonsense, right?
They got bigger fish to fry too.
Yeah. So like on one hand, I'm like, oh, that's great. No speeding tickets, right? But when you go down to Deep Ellum, it's like, we down at that area around Elm, Malcolm X, and it's really all the streets like Main, Elm, Commerce, kind of in that same area. And it's like these dudes came in. It's like they're all on four-wheelers, dirt bikes. They're blocking all the traffic, running the red lights, doing their little show in there before they drive off. And you look over, and there's like 4 cop cars with dudes leaning up against the cop cars. So it's like on one hand, it's like, I mean, I guess I like not having the speeding tickets, but like, can we do something about that? Like, can we? That's the element I think people are worried about in Deep Ellum. It's like you're trying to cross the street and then boom, a four-wheeler's coming this way. And if you do get hit, they're just driving off.
I thought DMX died like 2 years ago, dude. Like, what's up with all these four-wheelers and shit, Rough Riders?
I want to start talking to, there's like a certain kind of black dude. He's like a certain age, he's like 35, 45, maybe 55, that buys those 3-wheeled cars.
Oh, those trikes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But it's not the one you sit on top of. It's the one you sit in. There's like 2 seats. It's
And
like
their
2 wheels up
systems
front. Dude, they got
blaring.
LED lights.
Yeah.
They're playing, and they're just cruising through. And I don't know if they're all part of a club and they just cruise the area, or if it's dudes that don't even know each other. But I want to start from now on. When I see one of those, it's like I want to meet you and chat with you for a second. I want to talk to you about how you made this purchase, because it's not even cheap. Those things are like 35, 40 grand or something.
That's
right?
base. That's before they add all that shit onto it.
Yeah, so it's like, dude, are you balling, or did you like max out the loan and the interest rate? Like, just tell me about it. I'm so interested. Because it's kind of like how Dodge Challengers and Chargers became so popular with that same group. But the older guys, it's like, did you want a motorcycle, but you were too scared, so you got this? Or what is it? And they just, dude, they think they're so cool.
Yeah.
Like you see them, I'll make eye contact with them. There's no embarrassment on their end whatsoever. They're just like, they pull the glasses down, look at you, what's up, man? Put them back on.
Honestly, I have to agree. I have to agree. I think those things are cool as shit. You
like them?
I like how they look, but I hate how loud they are.
Dude, the music is full blast.
It's so loud.
Yeah,
dude.
and I've never once heard a song and been like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
But again, they just look at me like, you don't know good music. I'm turning it up louder. You need to learn.
Yeah, you never see a trike to blast Stevie Wonder or some shit. Just like some great universal jams.
Yeah. It's just this weird, I don't know if it's outside of Dallas, but for Deep Ellum specifically, that dude, there's like 15 versions of that dude down there.
Yeah, they're all over.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And then it's like, so they'll be cruising by, and then you'll have the bachelorette party on the pedal bar bicycle thing. You know what I'm talking about?
God.
Where there's like 10 of them pedaling this bike, drinking. Woo!
You're screaming and shit.
Yeah. It's just so I think the combination of all that makes me feel like, no, Deep Ellum's thriving. I think if you're coming out of a club or a bar at 2:15 and everybody's wasted, that's probably the most dicey that area is going to be.
Yeah.
But I think if you're leaving at 11, midnight, 1, I've never felt unsafe down there. Have you?
I don't think so, because like I'm a man that's 6'3",
Sure,
and I wear a fanny pack, and people think I have a gun in it. So
good point. But man, dude, I've walked down there at night in flip flops, and it's like you pass by people that might be a little sketchy, but you just give them the head nod. Hey, what's up? And they're just like, hey, cool.
You're the one thing that Lawrence hates, just a full grown man in flip flops at night.
Hey man, I edited that joke of the special over and over. I heard that bit making fun of me multiple times. I still own it. You know who else has one? Is Scott Crisp. He has that great joke about the reef sandals, the reef flip flops, and just so we're clear, like I'm wearing reef flip flops right now. All right. But the old school ones had the bottle opener on the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard his bit about that?
No.
I'm not going to say it on here, but it's great. But he's just got this bit about like the absurdity of the usefulness of that flip flop and like how it's going to go down at the beach when you're going to have to open it. It's hilarious. I'm not going to step on it. But yeah, I heard that and I was like, that's me. I have this flip flop. And then I hear Lawrence and I'm like, that's me. That's me. But you know what turned me back around on it recently was Danny McGow, who was on the show. He shows up, proud wearer of flip-flops as well, and I think that dude's cool as shit now, and I'm like, I'm back pro flip-flop. I'll take the hate.
I don't think he owns closed-toed shoes. Like, he's pretty much flip-flops all year round.
Yeah. I was just talking to somebody about him last night. It's like, it was shocking to meet him and talk to him and learn about him and see that this guy has like a plan for what he wants to do with his life. Because it's like I was talking to him, I was like, you don't look like a person that has a plan of any kind. And then you find out like he's got a he's got a strong grasp of what he would like to do.
He looks like the small Lebowski, you know?
I like him though, man. He's one of those people that because I asked you, I was like, hey, I saw this guy, he looks like this. Who is he? And you instantly you're like, Danny McGow.
Yeah.
And because I've seen him, it's like, man, he kills.
Yeah, he's funny as shit.
Funny dude. And I think he still flies under the radar around here.
Yeah. I think it's because, like, you know, he kind of works all around, like, with that drone shit. So, like, he doesn't really make a lot of mics. But I think he lives in mid-cities now, but he used to live kind of like in Weatherford. So
he said he was too far. When we were on the podcast, he said he moved mid-cities, and that's been a big help. But I think he's kind of this, like, he's that guy you don't think is going to come up there and kill. Like, I think when he first takes the stage, you think, another average comic.
Yeah.
And then you find out he's pretty clever, you know, and he's got some good material. Yeah.
Yeah, he's super funny, dude. Mm-hmm. He's always been that way, too. Like, he's probably, like, when I first came here, definitely one of the best, like, Fort Worth, like, comics, like, I've seen.
Yeah, I've got to get to Fort Worth more. I'm not...
The drive is crazy for
me. But I'm not devoting enough time to that scene. And every time I go out there, I'm not disappointed. I'm just not getting out there enough, you know.
Yeah.
And I already know that some of the killers out there, but there's this whole new crop of people that I haven't got to go check out.
Yeah, I would say just see the regulars out there. Yeah,
But-
I don't know, but you have a different philosophy. You like to go to open mics and like really just take it all in.
Okay, but you, like how many like you're talking about hosting at Backdoor. And Backdoor is a place that's generous too with like if you're newer and trying, they'll throw you a bone, right?
Yeah,
You had to have seen a few people transform at your time here in Dallas where they were pretty rough at the start and then they figured it out and started really becoming funnier, right? There's got to
yeah.
be a couple people.
oh yeah, for sure.
So that's kind of what I like seeing is, you know, were you funny from the start and it wasn't really a big deal, or did you kind of learn how to be funny? Because that to me ends up being more impressive. Like you end up writing better material 2-3 years from now.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
I think we have a bunch of y'all right now that don't realize your features. You know
Oh,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
A bunch of people that are hosting where it's like, you're probably a feature. And then I think there's a bunch of features where I don't think they realize if you just tighten up a few things, you're a headliner. I think they're just because we're in the ecosystem, they feel like I'm not ready for that step yet, you know?
Yeah, and it's just weird too. Like just getting promoted at clubs is like different now. There's no like real set like you're an opener and you're in feature. Like I feel like Hyenas does that still, but like even then they haven't promoted anyone from like the MC list like rarely in the last like 5 years. So like it's kind of like we're kind of stuck in that kind of mold when we're here, but like when we do like longer sets, when we do feature sets out of town, it's just like, and we do really well, it's just like, you know, how does that translate back home?
As an outsider, what I watch is what I see, what I think, which could be way off, is I think all the clubs around here need to do a better job at thinking of this as like a farm system for their future headliners. I'm going to invest, 8 years with this comic of giving them these opportunities to feature, hey, here's a headliner who's not, selling out the room, but we need a solid feature. Let's throw you on that, stretch your legs. Like molding them, going like, okay, that one was rough. Here's where you lost them, here, blah, blah. And, another 2 months, we'll try on another small feature spot again. Like, I worry that a lot of clubs out here, it seems as an outsider that those opportunities aren't being thrown up. And I know a lot of times the headliners bring their own people and blah, 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 but you should be trying to work that in as much as you can. Because I'll see people hitting those same host spots at different clubs.
Yep.
And it's like, that person's ready.
It's ready.
That person's ready. Give them, force them into that. Like, in some instances, like, why don't you throw them up maybe a little before they're ready?
Yeah.
See how they react. Did they rise to that occasion, or did it just suck,
Yeah.
And I think if they would collectively, all the venues, not anyone in particular, some are better than others, obviously, but I think maybe we struggle locally to realize, like, we could have that farm system here, kind of how these, like, New York places, LA places do that, where they think, like, you're in this community here, like you said, here's kind of a ladder that we like to climb if you want to get up here.
I think too, like I wholeheartedly agree with you. Like there should be a more like definitive rank and structure to like, the different openers and features. But like also, I feel like one of the things that us collectively as a scene need to work on, the clubs, is the bookers actually watching the talent that they book, because then you can kind of see the progression. If you see them more often, the books that the acts that you book, then you can see the progression and throw them like a feature spot and see how they do.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of the booking here is kind of blind. It's kind of like, all right, I know they're a solid comic from hearsay or whatever. I'm going to, they're past now, I guess. And it's very rare to find a club here where that person that booked you, that passed you, watches you constantly.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Like those New York, LA places, those legendary places, their bookers, they watch all the time.
Yeah, like I'm thinking about places like The Cellar, where clearly somebody is paying very close attention to that and really cares about who gets on that stage, because you have your legendary greats that come in and out, and they wouldn't stop in unless that was a great club that treated them well, right? But then you see all these incredible viral clips of like, I don't know who that person is, and they're on that stage right now, and this clip I just saw, that's top tier comedy.
Yeah.
And so who is curating that and caring so much about only this stage, not the ticket sale? I mean, they're selling because they're history, but how many shows have you been to where it's like they're giving people chances, but maybe not enough feedback to help them grow? It's just, here's your shot, good luck. If it doesn't work out, sorry.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's not good for your audience either. You know, you got to give that feedback. Like, you need to sit in the back of the room. You know what works in this room if it's your club. You know, I feel like I've sat in enough rooms now where you start to pick up on, like, in this room, these things really work and these things don't. And so if you're there all the time running that club, you got to know that too. And so I'm sure we all know certain clubs where it's like those people are more passionate and they are paying attention, but there's also some where they never pay attention.
Yeah.
And they're not in the back of the room ever, you know? And so it's just weird. Like, you control that scene so much when you run one of these places, whether you're the owner or the manager or whatever. Like you said, the person booking that stage, it's like that could be one of the coolest jobs in comedy around here. You could turn that place into the hottest spot by just caring a little bit.
Just a couple of tweaks.
Just a little bit.
A couple of tweaks is like, I feel like a lot of the clubs here do certain things very well, but like there's not one club where it's just like, holy shit, this is like the dream club, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Let's include all the clubs so we don't. Well, I don't know if that'll get you kicked out of all clubs, but
well, I'm pretty close.
Let's
So.
not pick on any one club particular. But if you could change one thing, if you could have all clubs do one thing better, what do you think would be the most helpful thing? Maybe something they don't even realize they're not doing well, you know?
Right. I feel like open mics are the most important things a club can do to build the scene. And I feel like if they can do open mic well, that is the most important thing, because you want the comics to frequent that place. You want the comics to feel like that they're being treated well at the not only the open mic, if they pop in on the weekend, try to catch a show. I feel like one of the big things that kind of like splintered the scene in the last 5 years is like Dallas Hyenas was always a shitty open mic. Like if you did it, but it was the best open mic for the hang, because like every comic would be there from Fort Worth to everywhere. Once a week, you see all these faces that you only see at that mic, you know, and then you see the regulars from this club and that club, but like everyone's there. Even like Dave Little would just hang out at the bar, you know, Paul Varghese and like Seth and all like just people.
The community.
It was so important for that aspect of it. It wasn't important for the stage time. I guess, you know, if you want to say something out loud, it was more important for like everyone just to see each other and get that sense of community. So
when I decided I wanted to go see what an open mic was about, that was the one I went to.
Yeah.
And I remember being blown away at the volume. You know, I wasn't expecting blocks of comics, you know, this block with 10 people or however many they put on it, and there's, you know, 6 blocks.
Yep.
You know, I didn't think there was going to be 50 comics up there that night. And you're right. It's like this, from my personal experience, you know, it's like I went in there, maybe a night or two, there would be, you know, 40 people that weren't comics in there every now and then. But it was usually the comics coming in and out. Because I sat through one from start to finish. I just wanted to see the grind from beginning to end at this Dallas
And
Hyenas.
you ended up grinding by just sitting there.
my wife told me I don't ever invite her to one of those again because she was grinding her teeth so much. No, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching, I think I've talked about it on here before, but one of those, you know, it was a rough open mic. And like a lot of them are rough, you know. People are sorting stuff out. But I remember watching Daniel Magden come in there, and it was before I started the podcast. And, you know, I ended up reaching out to him to be the first guest. And that was part of it, is watching this dead room, just uncomfortable. And he was still able to get up there and be silly and make it work somehow, and got real genuine laughs, not the comics laughing, like real people laughs. And that's when it kind of kicked on of like, okay, this is the skill of, even if it's this bad, you can turn it around, you know. But yeah, I've, you know, that club is the closest to me, and I've always felt like with a few tweaks, you know, and what do I know, right? I don't run a club, but in my own mind of like, if I were king of the jungle, here's what I would do. It could be the best club in DFW, easily, hands down.
Absolutely.
And I don't think it's the worst club, but it's just, there's all this stuff. It's like, well, I would maybe attempt this, that. Because when it does have the vibe there in that front room, when people are hanging out, that's a really fun spot. It's really, really fun. And I've seen plenty of good shows on the inside. So it's like, what do we got to do to make that magic to where not only is it every weekend, but it's like on Wednesday, Thursday, you know, maybe like the occasional Tuesday even, you know. It's capable. It's in a great spot. But then I feel that way about all the clubs, you know. Like they've all got those empty holes where it's like, what do you got to do to fill those holes? Anyway, sorry. They've all got those empty days on their calendar where you're thinking, we're DFW. We could fill out Monday through Sunday if we wanted to. We could find a way to do that. So
yeah,
I don't know. But yeah, I think you're right. Open mics.
It's. I think a lot of it has to do with marketing too, because like a lot of comedy clubs are more old school, where they kind of rely on the headliner to bring, like through their presence. But I think if you supplement, and it's not even expensive. Like I do digital marketing as a trade, and I've run some ads for some friends and looked at the cost. It is severely low because there is really no one advertising comedy in this area. So like. The more competition you have, of course, it'll artificially rise that cost. But it's still really, really cheap to run comedy ads.
Yeah. What do you think is the best promo move these days for comics? Because comics are notoriously funny and they write good material, but they are terrible at promoting themselves.
Oh yeah, dude. Of course. Like I'm one. Like, I don't promote anything.
Well, why am I asking you then?
Yeah. Like I don't know. Like since like I stopped getting as much club work, like I don't have as much tape to work with, and now I'm just like, what do I tape now? Like the backdoor spots every now and then.
It's why not?
It's just not. I love backdoor, but it's not truly the essence of my comedy. Like I like to be a little bit more blue, a little bit dirtier.
Oh, I see.
Naturally.
Yeah.
So like that's like what I want to do. Like backdoor, I love it, and I love the fact that I have to be clean. Like I think makes me a better comic because like I have to just find the funny in any scenario in the material or what's happening.
Well, you ever thought about like working with what you got then, like stretching those clean legs as far, like what is the tiptoe edge of filth you can get to without breaking?
I pretty much do
the
it
rules.
right now.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like lean into it, right?
Yeah.
And then if you go somewhere where you can bust the cap off, it's like, oh well, now it's done, right?
Yeah.
That's still, I think, one of my favorite spots of all time is even I love dirty comedy, right? But there's just something about that vibe there. I really, really, really like it. But I think about that way with every club of like my own little tweaks. Backdoor's the same way. It's like, oh man, like a couple tweaks here, couple things, and this is the spot.
They're like I think in the last year it's actually been improving a lot because in the last year they started running online ads or like getting online ticket sales because it used to be all by phone.
I remember like R.I.P. to Jan, but some of my favorite memories were calling up there. Wasn't doing this podcast or anything, and because I didn't know Jan and Linda were running it like that before I was kind of doing this podcast, and we were going to the DoubleTree location. Were you here when that was going on?
Yeah.
And so you call because I remember going to the website and I was like, okay, there's nowhere to get a ticket or anything. And they're like, call for tickets. And I was like, that's weird. Okay, so we call, and
this is like 10 years ago.
Oh yeah, this would have been like 2000. Probably like 10, 11, 12. Yeah, around that time, yeah. And but it's like you're calling from your cell phone, and I had to put it on speakerphone. Like my wife and I weren't even married yet. I was like, you got to hear this. Like, they'd just be like, backdoor or like something, and you're like, yeah, we want to do a comedy show tonight. Yeah, we got comedy. Like, okay, great. Well, like, how does it work? And they're like, you want this time, that time, and then she'd be like, hold on a second, hold on, John, you're up, John, now. Like, you'd hear them like queuing people up on the stage.
That's so
But when
funny.
I'm on the phone call, I was like, I'm already in.
Yeah.
This sounds incredible. I don't know what's happening there, but I got to find out more. And then like when you get up there, like if you're going to the early show and they're still taking ticket sales on over the phone for the late show, she's like tearing your tickets or whatever they did. And it's like the old school, like a corded phone to the wall. And she's like still taking, sweetie. Okay, right there. Yeah, come on in, sugar. We'll sit you over there. And you're like, hell yeah, this is what I want. The only fault with that whole setup was just that was one of the worst rooms for comedy.
Yeah,
but
it was tiny.
But it still had a great environment. Like, I don't know, I still really enjoyed watching shows at that DoubleTree location, just walking by the bar to what looked like this little secret room over there and stuff. Same thing, it's like a couple tweaks. I think that hotel made a huge mistake getting them out of there.
Yeah.
I don't know what the details were, but they could have invested a little bit of money, put a drop ceiling in to make it a little lower, painted the walls, gave them a little bit better sound equipment, and that would have been a really badass spot, and to think all the money that hotel bar would be making off all those comedy shows.
Dude.
To turn that away, like, what are you really going to put in there?
They were the most egregious. Like, that was the one place I was like, please give comics a discount because they charge DoubleTree prices for like drinks. Oh, it was so
hook
disgusting.
up the comics. It's like, because the crowd, when I went there was a crowd usually.
Yeah.
We went to the shows I would go to,
especially
were sold
the
out.
early ones in the DoubleTree. The early shows always have.
And there was a lot of stuff that worked well, right? Like big, nice parking lot right off the highway, easy to find, and it felt cool. You walk into this big, nice lobby that you don't have to pay for, but then you're going to the secret little comedy club over there.
Yep.
It felt like the essence of like backdoor. It's a backdoor place, but I wish I could have seen the prior locations. I'd never seen those.
I've never
before.
seen the priors either.
Some people have explained it to me, but I would have liked to have seen it.
I always saw the DoubleTree. I like the one now because
I love the one now.
They pour great. It's definitely the polar opposite of the DoubleTree.
They've got that great
experience.
setup with the bar next door.
Yeah,
And so they don't have to worry about it. They just let the bar do it, right?
and the bar super appreciates Linda and Backdoor, so like it's a very, very good relationship.
Yeah, it seems like a nice mutual thing. I've wondered too, can you ever make the backdoor room bigger while maintaining the essence of Backdoor?
I don't
Or
think
does
so.
Backdoor have to be the small club?
It has to be that little shotgun pillbox, dude.
Yeah.
I think it has to be. It's very old school, very, very old school. And that's the mystique of it too. And like, I think that it's probably one of the tougher rooms too, because like you kind of get that demographic that still calls in, but you get the younger people that went online to buy tickets. So like,
That's a weird
it
mix.
has a weird mix. It's always been difficult room, even in the DoubleTree. But like, I feel like that kind of stayed with the club when it moved to Richardson. It was just still like a tough room due to the demographic mix, and you had to be clean. But man, when you get them because it's that tiny little space.
Are you working much outside of like Dallas, Fort Worth, but still in the Metroplex? Like, are you hitting these other smaller places that are popping up?
Like the Terrell place.
Anything?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that is exactly what happens at those places. Because I went out to Rose City before they did their new location. So, I don't know. Have you been out there much? Do you know?
I haven't been to the new one. I will be there soon.
You went to the one that had the pallets on the backstage, though?
Yeah.
Okay. So what did that hold? 40 people?
Yeah, about.
About 40 people, right? Seats, 40 people. And the one show I got to see at that one, Scott Bedgood was headlining, and he's from there. So he had put out a bunch of stuff to like his friends and family, like, come check it out, come check it out. All of his younger friends waited, and they were going to like buy tickets the day of because it's like, oh, it's our buddy Scott. He, it's not going to sell out, I guess, right? Well, like the older people that he knew, they bought it up immediately. So it was just this old non-comedy crowd filling all 40 seats up.
Like his geometry teacher and
Yeah,
shit.
literally. I think his football coach was there. I literally think his football coach was there. And it was interesting because me and my buddy Chris went, and so we would have been like the slightly younger demographic in the room. It was either our age or above. And so all these comics coming in with the younger material that they would do, or the more abrasive material, they were struggling. And like me and Chris would just be howling because we thought the joke was funny, but we also think it's funny that they're not laughing for you.
Yeah.
So it's like you just hear the two of us and maybe like the three other people our age, just like and then somebody who came up who knew how to cater to that older group, right? Who could switch, right? They crushed. And it was not a comic that I would particularly like, but I was just captivated with like they captured the whole room. They owned it, and it was, the show got so weird at one point. I still enjoyed all of it, but one of the comics who was trying to do all the younger material, all the blue material, and it wasn't landing, and they didn't read the room from the first two comics or whatever that wasn't working. They still just dug their heels in, right?
Yeah.
It was so quiet that behind those pallets, I could hear one of the later comics coming up. They had ordered a bunch of T-shirts that got shipped in, but the T-shirts were in individual plastic things. So they were getting them set up to sell after the show. So you hear the plastic tearing behind the stage. And like somebody had to go over and be like, hey, stop telling stop opening up the shirts right now.
It's bad when you can hear like little things like that.
Yeah.
Like if you could hear the HVAC system
Yes.
running, you're doing something wrong,
Yeah, and it was fascinating to watch that because when the one person who did know how to handle the wider age range of crowds, it's like they got up there and crushed, and the crowd was 100% on board.
Oh yeah.
And but I think there's a lot of those little venues popping up. Like Rose City's now got the bigger spot, so I'm probably never going to experience that with them again. But it's like even McKinney with the Comedy Arena. It's like that's a smaller little club. There's something out in Rockwall now, right? Jack's. Jack's
I had
Comedy
never
Club.
played Jack's.
I don't know. I haven't been there yet, but there's these spots, and I wonder if we're going to start getting these killers on the outskirts because they have to do that with those crowds. Like they have to be a little more versatile because It will be some of the younger people who came for comedy, bought the tickets online, and then it's going to be some of the older people who drove by and were like, let's try that out on Thursday or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got to have like material that hits like multiple demographics.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just like Texas in general. I think that's why a lot of Dallas comics are strong. Because like I think Dallas as a whole is a harder sell for comedy. Because like you go to Fort Worth and you could just like go up there and breathe and they'll laugh. You know, they just want to have a good time. Dallas is like, yo, you got to show me that, you know, it's worth me investing this time to laugh at you shit.
You know what the weirdest room for that I've seen in, with just being an audience member, is the small room at DCC. I don't know what it is about, like if the later the show too, like if you go to a 10 p.m. show or whatever their late shows are there, it's like you're going to get like the SMU student, the high school dropout, and then you're going to get like the millionaire oil man all in one show. And it's like, I can't imagine being on stage and going, so, all right, I gotta find something that each of you enjoy right now. And it's just small enough, the room, you know, that you can see the faces throughout the whole room. And that seems like a tough room crowd-wise sometimes.
That's tough. I think, man, just from doing like Dallas Heinous so much and just seeing the stark difference in just the crowd from Fort Worth to Dallas, it's just like Dallas is a way different city. Like different stuff works here. Also, like it's just harder to get Dallas people to like all come on board at the same time. I don't know what it is. Like I think I worked with the headliner back in the day, and she said that she thinks it's just like the income level, right? Disparity, where there's so many more entertainment options in like Dallas or Plano, and there's people that are a little bit more affluent, so they have the cash to just spend, and they're less impressed. But you go to Fort Worth, it's more working class. They had to like schedule this like a month ahead of time, get a babysitter. They're looking forward to it. You know, they're gonna have a good time. So like, I think that has some merit to it. That little theory, you know,
it's an interesting one. But then I would wonder, you know, like your two places that people always talk about, New York and L.A., similar. You know, do you consider L.A. an affluent city, New York an affluent city? In these big comedy zones, or is it that they're affluent, but there's enough blue collar people that are still hitting up those spots just because of the nature of those cities, you know? I don't know. That's an interesting thing. I'll have to think about that. Dallas is definitely that way, though. Like we live in Dallas proper, and I don't know how people are buying homes and living here. We bought it before a lot of this big come up around here, and you know, we'll do the, you know, you do the bullshit shopping on like Zillow or something where you're like, let me see what mansions I would like, you know, and when you see like the amount of homes that are for sale for $2 million, and you're thinking, are there that many people that can afford these homes? That many people own a $2 million home right now. And in some areas around here, it's like, that's nuts. And you start looking up like they're paying, you know, $10,000 a month to live.
That's so crazy.
That's nuts, you know? Because we looked up at one, we're like, okay, let's say you bought it cash, right? Your taxes were still like $3,500 a month. So it's like even once you paid it off, you've got to mortgage the rest of your life with your taxes.
Oh my God.
And it wasn't like one, it's not like that's the rich home, you know, it was a whole neighborhood of that. And we got a couple neighborhoods, right? It's like you got a couple rich neighborhoods in East Dallas. You've got like the Highland Park, University Park area. Then you go up a little north and you got like West Plano. It's like there's a lot of money that I guess I don't think about around here.
Yeah.
So maybe they're right about that. Maybe there's just a lot more wealthy people here than we think.
Dude, I moved here because the cost of living was great, but now it's like it caught up. It's
big time.
It's so nuts, dude.
Big time. Yeah. It's wild. I mean, what do you feel that way though? Do you feel like the blue collar people just come in, I'm gonna get a drink and laugh?
I don't know. It might be their temperament too. I feel like maybe it's just weird. I feel like more working class, more conservative politics wise are just easier to do any sort of material into. It doesn't matter. But the more left leaning, it's like you get into sensitive topic areas and like no things you can say. It's like it's you got to have to really have like an act built around that to do well in those spaces.
I've always felt that I'm a more liberal person, right? And I'm sure maybe it's because I'm about to be 40, and that's the old joke, right? You're young, you're liberal, you're old, you're conservative. But I don't have conservative social thoughts. But I have noticed that the more liberal people I know around my circle anyway, they are a harder sell on that stuff. It's like, yeah. We're not actually talking about treating people this way.
Yes.
This is a joke. The biggest, like the most recent thing I saw on a high level like that was we went up to Oklahoma to watch Kyle Kinane.
Oh, he's so good.
I remember seeing a map and like the last several presidential elections, it's like every county is red up there. Everybody votes conservative up there, right? And he is up on stage. The room was not sold out by him. There were random people there who just went to see a comedy show, right? And he's from, Portland, Oregon, I think. And so he's like liberal. And, dude, he is hitting gun control, abortion. He's hitting all these topics. He's making fun of them right to their face about stuff before he turns around and makes fun of himself. Not once did anybody, like, heckle or storm out. Like, they were all 100% on board. And so I think you're definitely right about that. I think they know how to put aside their own politics and just laugh at a joke and just be like, well, I don't agree with them, but damn, it's funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
Damn, that was funny. Because, dude, he was talking about how, like, one of the best punchlines I heard recently was he was talking about he would think they'd be on board with pro-choice because it's like the ultimate stand your ground. Fucking brilliant, you know. But the way he led up to him, they're like groaning. They're like, "Oh, let's see where this hippie liberal's going with this." And then by the end of it, they're dying laughing. And part of that is Kyle Kinane's a master, but I do think like they take a joke better.
Yeah,
you know,
they definitely do. And like when I moved to Denver after I separated, I was super liberal, bleeding heart. Mm-hmm. Like all my politics pointed that way. Huge Bernie bro, even to this day.
Same.
And then I moved to Denver in 2014. I was like, I like having liberal viewpoints, but I don't like other people with liberal viewpoints. This is such they're so grating. Like it's like they felt just inauthentic, and like I just hated hanging out around them. So like I much rather hang out with conservatives. Yeah. Like they just like to have a good time, just fucking yuck it up, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, I was talking to a very liberal comic one time, and something came up about jokes about rape or something like that. And they're like, well, there's never, ever a single time you could make a joke about rape. And I was like, no, I get it. Like, this is a traumatic thing. So it's like, but I think there's probably somebody super smart out there who makes a joke about it that's hilarious without it being like wildly offensive. It's like, what do you never come on? Because I'm definitely from the South Park philosophy. Again, those are more liberal people, right? Where they're like, it's either all on the table or none of it's on the table. We can make fun of anything and everything or nothing. And I think that's the way you got to go. I mean, dude, how many times have you seen what you thought would be like a sensitive demographic in the audience, and when they get ripped on, they're having the time of their life? Pick whatever it is, right? Yeah. It's like, even if you weren't a comic, if somehow you got talking about this cane at the show, somebody was talking to you about that and hit you with a couple good one-liners, you would be like, that was incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And I think most people are like that. Unless you're coming up to them and just be like, hey, fuck you. Like, you know, but nobody's doing that.
I would say it's surprising because, like, you know, doing comedy for so long, you already have like a kind of a mental image of what the show is going to be like if you're playing it someplace new and you know where it's at. And you already kind of you have your expectations.
You mean like the people in the crowd? You have an idea of who's going to fill that audience? Who's going to
be there, what the show's going to be like, what things I can talk about. You already know all these, especially if you live there. Like, for example, me and Sri did a private show maybe about 6 months ago at a yoga studio in Dallas.
Okay.
So you're already thinking, right? Uh-huh. Okay, I kind of know the demographic, right? A little bit more affluent, you know, a little bit more educated. Mm-hmm. Might be harder sell on, like, you know, some of the on the line jokes.
Yeah.
We get there. Demographic looks exactly how I thought it was going to look. Exactly, to the T.
Are people doing like the prayer hand bow when they come in?
Like they were making like inside yoga jokes and shit. Like the lady that went up was making all these inside jokes about different poses. I'm like, damn, she's fucking crushing, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, but we go up, dude. We murdered that place.
Really?
And I could not believe it because like
awesome.
My shit is like very on the line. So like if it gets a little too sensitive, then it could go really off the rails really quickly with my material. But it did so well, and I was so surprised. That's like one of the most genuinely surprised because like I already knew, all right, it's a yoga studio. It's going to be more affluent. Mm-hmm. They're going to be more touch and go with, you know, the topics I cover.
Yeah.
But dude, it was they loved it. They couldn't get enough, and they treated it really well too. It was insane.
That's interesting, man. It is weird. Like some places just work. And you don't know why. I've taken a lot of interest in why some comedy clubs feel better than others. You know, there definitely is an intangible. I know everybody has like the low ceiling. I get that. But there are some places they just feel good.
Fort Worth Hyenas, dude. That is electric. That main room, there's something about it, man. I don't know what it is. I don't know if there's like some incantation to charm that place or some shit, but every time I played a show there, it was just electric. Absolutely just buzzing.
It's interesting. What do you... Well, I don't want to say that because I don't want to get you messed up here, but...
What's the worst room to play?
No. I was going to ask some specific questions about Fort Worth Hyenas, but I don't want to get into that.
Oh, okay, all right.
Well, what I will say is I think my personal opinion, not the opinion of Paul Smith comic right now, but is I think the Red Room is one of the most underutilized spaces right now in DFW. I think that room could be killer. Again, few tweaks, but I think that stage, that size of the room, it is one of the more underserved rooms right now where there could be killer shows there, 3-4 nights a week. And I'm sure there's a lot that goes into that I don't understand, but it just seems like that's a stage that's being very underutilized. Because like some of the shows I've been to, it's like that bar doesn't even open. That little room should be packed to the point where that bar is open.
Absolutely.
That's all I feel like. And
I mean, they make some of the kitchen stuff past that room anyway. So
yeah. And so that's one of those rooms I would like to see. I would love to see here in a year or two where like whatever tweaks need to happen that they can make happen, where all of a sudden, you're watching killer 50 seat shows with these kind of mid-range headliners that can't move the tickets in the big room yet, but they're testing the waters of Texas and Fort Worth. That seems like a perfect room for that. And then as well as like your locals, your local people should be having great shows in there too,
Yeah, I feel like
because they do things in Fort Worth that I really love. Which one, that little area by Hyenas, beautiful little downtown spot, right? Is that considered downtown? I don't know.
I think they call it like
that's Sundance, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful spot. Feels super safe walking around there. Doesn't feel sketch. Like huge, wide sidewalks. It's all pretty clean. Great little bars and areas around there when you're done. And then they have that wonderful parking garage.
Free parking.
Where no matter where you're going, I can just hit this garage and walk a block or two and I'm there.
Yep.
And that's what Deep Ellum is missing.
Yeah.
If Deep Ellum had that, Deep Ellum would be the best spot.
It's like free parking up until I think midnight or something, and they just like lift the gates.
Yeah.
I think even then on the weekdays, there's only a very few windows of time you actually have to pay for that garage.
Even if I had to pay the $5 though, well worth it.
Absolutely.
It's a nice spot. If I feel like I'm getting my money's worth if I have to spend $5 there.
Yeah.
Whereas, you go to some of these lots in Deep Ellum and you're like, what do you mean 15 $20? Like, you serious?
It's like New York City prices.
Will the car be here when I get back? Is somebody going to steal it? So that's like they have all this stuff going for them. That room should be a killer medium room.
I'm no longer affiliated with Hyenas. So
okay.
I don't know like their like schedule, but I did notice like towards the end where they were doing more stuff like that, kind of smaller headliners, treating it more like a belly room or something. You know, like the second room. Yeah. I think that's the smartest way to go for sure.
Yeah. Well, like everything, I'm sure they're going through ebbs and flows, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, I haven't gotten over to Big Laughs yet. Have you done anything with them?
I'm going to do a show with Mikey B this Thursday there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dude, Mikey B, by the way, I think he's got the #1 viewed local special now, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Dude, I saw it at like 20,000 or something.
Yeah.
It's like, dude.
I was there for that filming, and dude, it was electric. Like, all those laughs are real. Like, the crowd almost broke curtain on that. It was a Sunday show.
Wow.
And they were just eating everything up, dude. It was just insanely energetic crowd.
What blew my mind away with Mikey, like I know Mikey's funny. I've seen a bunch of that material, but there was a lot of that I had not seen. The full commitment to spit his false teeth out on stage. I was like, oh, hell yeah. I'm in. Like, dude, to me, that's true comic. Like, you're not afraid of the embarrassment of people knowing you have false teeth. You did it on a camera for the love of the art, for the joke. I was like, bravo, I'm 100% in on this now.
That shit crushes live, like absolutely.
Had he been doing that before the special?
He's done it a few times.
I've never seen that. I didn't know he had fake teeth.
Yeah, I went to like a small road stint with him when he was opening for Paul Verzi. So I
bet he killed in front of his crowds.
Dude, so it was so crazy. Like, so we're at the Houston Improv, and the green room's a little farther away from the stage. And me, Paul Verzi, and the host were chilling in the green room. And then 5 minutes after Mikey goes up, because he's featuring for Paul, like the host gets worried because all we hear is like this loud applause, and then like we all go into the showroom. He's just getting applause breaks like 5 minutes in to like his set. Like he was just absolutely slaying that crowd.
Wow.
He did really well up here too because it was like a Verzi did I think like Tuesday or Wednesday in Houston and next day at the Addison Improv. But yeah, he does that. When he does that shit, oh my God. He has like 3 or 4 moments in his set where it just fucking erupts the crowd.
Well, I remember the first time I had him on the podcast, just listening to him talk and then talking to him afterwards a little bit, kind of like Danny McGow. It's like, I didn't expect you to be a hustler like this. Like, you really are working on the back end to do what you can do. And he is. Like, he's trying to promote things and do everything he can. So I really respected that. And I was so nervous when it was coming out, because I know he's funny, but after taping with Lawrence, it's like, you just know there's so many things out of your control about whether or not this is going to be good. And we don't, I assume, I don't know Mikey's details, but I assume he's not in the situation where we can film 4 shows and we have this big budget and we can try again next time. It's like most of us at this level, we're saying, please come out. We're taping this. It's my one shot, Yep. So there's all this stuff out of your control. So super nervous, and what if he got a bad film person and it looks shitty? And what if the audio's terrible and all this stuff, And so he'd come on the show before it was released. And I told him, I was like, well, no, I want to promote it. I know you're funny. Like, I'm definitely down to promote it. And he was like, let me show you a clip or something. I was like, I don't want to see anything. I want to watch it in its full thing when it comes out. And when it came out and everything like looked and sounded good and it was just what I expected, I was like, oh, thank God. Because, you want these people here to be represented the way you've seen them. And so I hope it gives him the pop he deserves because he's been in the game for a minute. Funny dude, and I'm sure some people don't like him, but that's everybody, But I've always enjoyed chatting with him, and he seems legit. So
I think all comics are very divisive characters.
Yeah, I never know what cliques are going on between people. But
I love Mikey, dude. Mikey's one of my closest friends in comedy.
Okay, good. Yeah. But
I don't even have to do weed or anything around him.
No, I like him, man, and like seeing that it's getting 20,000 views and it's not slowing down. Really, it's like, okay, here we go.
I think that just goes to show you how. A, it was just well produced, and also B, like it's got funny shit in there. Like, it's got really good stuff.
Well, I think that's the hard part to realize is like, unfortunately, the prerequisite is it's got to be well produced and you got to be funny. Those are like why would we do this if it wasn't that?
Yeah.
I think what he's doing that other people struggle with is I think he's working on the back end. I think he's trying to put out clips, go on podcasts, do the promo. All the stuff that an artistic person is like, I don't want to do this business mindset stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like he must be nailing that in order for it to keep going this way.
Yeah, I'm sure you probably hit upon it, but Mikey's been like a hustler like his whole adult life. Like he's had so many different careers, like just hustling he's even like managed rappers at some point,
Well, he talked about in the special, right? Yeah. I'm not, just go watch it, please. It's really good. What is it? Honorable Scumbag, right? Scumbag, please go watch Honorable Scumbag. But like what I was thinking about when he left that podcast, and then I was thinking about it again after I watched it, was, like when a younger comic comes in and they dream of like the grind, and you hear these younger guys talking about like, yeah, man, I'm going to like do this. I'm going to have these oddball jobs and live kind of this chaotic, crazy life. And it almost feels like you're a little bit of a phony because you're like, nobody wants to live that way.
No.
Nobody fucking wants to do that. And it's like, Mikey lives that way because he wants to be a great comic. He's not doing that because he thinks that's what great comics should be. Yeah. He's thinking like, no, I would love to have some money and some stability, and like if we can do that, that would be fantastic. And so I think you're seeing the product of like when you have a real person who's living that way because they're focusing on comedy, that's way different. You can tell he's working on that material and doing that stuff. But I hope, man, fingers crossed. I think he deserves a pop bigger than DFW.
He's such a funny dude, and he's got the time, he's got the chops. I just did a show, I featured for him at Bricktown. It was a Sunday show. And there's maybe like, it wasn't too big, maybe 60, 70 people. Because Kill Switch Engage was playing next door, so and like so
Oklahoma, man,
we roll up and like dude, the whole sidewalk is like fucking packed with people just waiting in line, and then this film crew comes out, and I was like, oh, this isn't for Mikey, like this is for like okay, it's for something else, but they're good, man, they're jazzing and he fucking crushed, man. Yeah, he's a crusher.
Earlier we were talking about like your cane and your hip and how like I would love to see material about that, and how I love like hyper specific material. that's a great example is the way he talks about his experience with his heart attack.
Oh yeah.
How he drew that out into all these like micro experiences of when I thought it was happening, when I was at the hospital afterwards. That's the stuff I really love, where I'm super curious about this intimate thing. Like, you know, because if he wasn't a comic and I found out he had a heart attack, you can't be like, so what was it like when they're shaving your pubes? A normal person would be like, excuse me? But he's like bearing it all, you know, literally. And like, that's what I think I mean whenever I say I love that hyper specific. How many people do you know that have had a heart attack that will tell you the details he told you?
Right.
You know, like when he's talking to you about his experience while he's intubated.
Yeah.
Most people are like, I just don't want to talk about that. And he's like, let me tell you everything. They thought it was gay. And like,
Yeah, I tell you with my teeth out too. Like,
right, yeah. And so that's kind of what I was thinking about, like with your hip. It's like, I think if you get into that zone somehow of thinking about the nuance that you're probably not noticing because it's daily. You know, it's like when you're losing weight, if you drop 15 pounds, you still feel like a fat ass, right? But then when you see somebody who hasn't seen you in 3-4 months, they're like, hey, did you drop some weight, you know? I think that's what it's like. I think you've been in this experience now for 2 or 3 years. So all these little nuances of your life that are probably really funny, you're just too close to it, and you have to kind of like step out for a minute.
I will say I've been trying to think like, it's along those lines where how I can translate this on stage, but around the house, I don't like to use the cane a lot because it's smaller confines. I can just like support myself wherever. But like when I just get up and start walking, I feel like a toddler because like, there's really no support going. I'm finding new balance cues like every time I like make different moves.
You know what you're doing? Do you remember? Do you remember when your kid was like going from crawling to walking?
Yeah.
Remember that stage in between? What they call it? Cruising. Yeah, where little toddlers are like grabbing the objects like the couch to the chair. They're cruising because they're not ready to go. So that's what you're doing as an adult.
I'm a 6'3" toddler.
Yeah,
just
you're
cruising
man.
around the
Just
apartment.
cruising.
Yeah, I do that all over. Like I go up.
That's what I'm talking about. I think if you kind of dug deep on that and mined those things, I don't know. Maybe it's all terrible and I just need to stay in my lane, you know. But like little, you know, because the first thing I'm thinking about is like if you're cruising, you're probably hitting the same spots.
Yeah.
And like, what if that stool was moved by your girlfriend or something?
It'll
or whatever.
be over.
That's what I'm saying. You know,
Yeah.
and it's like, is there like a counter? Like, is there a part on your counter where it's developing like a mark because your hand keeps hitting that one spot? All those little things like that of like just what you wouldn't think about. One of the apartments I lived in, do you know the Village here in Dallas?
Yeah.
So, you know, for people outside of here, the Village is just a massive apartment complex, and it has this centralized location. And when I lived there, it was a smaller place, but it had a gym right in the middle where all that new stuff is. And it had these floor-to-ceiling windows when you're on the treadmill. And there was a blind dude that would come to the gym all the time, and he would walk from his apartment there. And he had the dog, you know. But from where we were, you could watch him like get up to the intersection, cross the intersection, come into the building, and then he'd like put his dog down in the corner of the room, and he'd start grabbing weights to do squats and stuff. And he was just jacked. But I'm sitting there, you know, it's like I've paused my treadmill and I'm just watching him navigate the gym because it's just fascinating, like all the little touches that I wouldn't think about, like how, you know, identifying the plates, putting them on. And then you're just watching his dog in the corner, watching him the whole time for any cue, like if he needs them. And it was just fascinating because how often are you going to be able to, you know, like surveil somebody in a different environment like that? It's really interesting.
Yeah, my girlfriend's that dog. She's like, just worried about me.
But that's what I'm talking about right there. Like that kind of those kinds of statements and stuff. Like mine that and see how deep it goes. I think you'd be pretty surprised about it because it's such a like. I'm sure it feels like forever now, but you're going to be past this soon, and then before you know it, it'll be 10 years from, and you'll forget all of this information. You know,
That's
it'll
true.
just be kind of like I don't even think about that Bell's palsy anymore. You know, it's like when I see a picture in my phone every now and then, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, that happened. And it's crazy because you're in it, but pretty soon it'll be 5, 6, 7 years after your next hip replacement. And all these little things you're doing right now are going to be totally out of your mind.
That's true.
You know, so it's like you kind of got to hit it now, I think. Mm-hmm. And then once it's done, once you're out of it and you look at those things and you're not as sensitive about it, right? Because you're not living it day to day, it's going to be hilarious. Hilarious.
Oh, absolutely.
Like I'll find a picture of like when we had that Bell's palsy going on, it was Halloween. My son, he had to be almost 2 years old, I guess. But he was dressed as a scarecrow, and I'm holding him on Halloween with half my face drooping, trying to smile, and he's just screaming and crying. And it's like the picture looks like I'm this monster holding a kid. You know? And in the moment, I just remember like, I don't want to take a goddamn picture. Like, I don't want to do this. Fuck that. Oh, I don't want to remember this. And now I look at it, it's like one of the funniest parts of my life when I think about that. You know, and I can't wait to show him like when he's older. Like, yeah, that's why my face didn't work.
That's when he thought I was a stranger for a month.
Exactly. Yeah. But I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, we're getting close here. Well, other than Mikey B, who do you think are some of the comics locally that people need to be taking notice of? Who do you like?
Man.
Who are some of the ones you like? We just like 2 or 3 people.
That's like a loaded question.
Sure. That's what's hard about it.
Well, I think we kind of touched upon it earlier where, you know, we kind of have a lot of comics that are like not getting the spots that they probably should be getting at a point in their careers. But I think a perfect example of that is Arun. Like Arun hosts a bunch. This dude is like, he's been a feature for like at least 3 years. Like, and he still rarely gets like feature opportunities. But I'm excited to announce that I'll be featuring for his first headlining spot ever at Tyler at the new Rose City. Coming up. It's a Thursday show. I think 2 weeks.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So that's gonna be dope.
He should have a great time because that, like you said, that dude. He's one of the ones I think they should just be pushing their limits. Yeah. I think he's ready. I don't know if he knows he's ready, if he's psyched for it or what, but that's going to be a great headlining thing too because Rose City, this will be your first time to the new one, right?
To the new one, yeah.
Well, you'll have to tell me what you think because it's a great spot. It's good, man. I think, and the crowds out there, I think they're going to react well.
I have to check it out because like I thought like right at the end of the last Rose City, I was like, damn, this place is perfect now. The new chairs are super nice. Like the lighting is perfect. They got the acoustics sounding good. Like they even like used the pallets less. So like it was only kind of like in the green room area. It was super nice.
The old one was special.
Yeah.
And in a perfect world, I would hope he would work both places.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if he has plans for that. He seems like he's got plans, and I don't know. I haven't got to talk to him about it, the owner. But the new place is nothing like that. Totally different vibe, but it's good.
Oh,
it's good. I liked it. Yeah, I mean, right from the moment you walk in, it's just a beautiful venue. And then I think all the lessons he learned at that small place of how he wants to set up really well. Yeah, so that's exciting. Who else? So we said Arun, Mikey B. Anybody else?
Yeah, I think Scott Crisp should be headlining. Like he has the material for it, and he has like such a unique point of view. Like he should be getting a lot more like headlining work for sure. And I'm sure everyone in Dallas already knows Paul Varghese, but like I feel like he deserves like bigger exposure. Like he's just been like the best comic here for like 20 years. So
yeah, never gone away, still doing it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. That's what I think about most of our Dallas scene, and those are 2 great examples: Paul Varghese, Scott Crisp. At least Paul Varghese, it's like he's done bigger internationally touring things also, and he's made his name. But it's like, yeah, he's still here with us doing this stuff. Like, go check him out.
Yeah, I think
he's a machine.
A lot of younger comics don't realize that they can just pop into clubs when clubs know you to watch these comics perform. Like, I think that's a big thing. Like, if you're doing Backdoor and Lyndon knows you, you could just pop in on the weekends to watch all the Backdoor regulars just to see what it's like, you know?
Yeah.
And it's probably like comics that you've never seen because they don't really do open mics anymore, you know?
Yeah. Dude, Scott Crisp has been brought up on the show a couple times in that same light. What do you think we have to do to get Scott Crisp, boom, next level?
Maybe like, I don't know, give him some ambition.
Too chill, right?
Yeah, too chill. He's like so
nice,
cool of a guy.
Chill, happy guy.
Yeah, if he had just like an iota, one spark of like, all right, we can do this.
How do you get a guy like that to push?
I don't know.
You know, I don't know if you can make a guy like that go, I'm fucking going for it. Like, I don't know if I could ever hear that coming out of his mouth.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right, man. Like I've talked about it on here before. One of the things that worries me about Scott is he's got that great Forrest Gump closer.
Oh my God, so
fantastic,
good.
Right?
So good.
Please go watch Scott. Check out his closer. It's phenomenal. I get worried that we don't propel Scott to comedy fame on a national level soon enough, and that people for some reason start watching Forrest Gump less, and the reference doesn't hit. You know what I mean? That like newer generations are just like, I've never seen that movie. What's he talking? And it's like, I don't think you realize how good it is because go watch the movie and then come back and watch. So it's like, I want to make sure he gets that out there in a perfectly recorded way before it's past its time, whatever
True.
that may
I mean,
be.
it's coming to the point like my girlfriend doesn't know because she hasn't seen Forrest Gump. So
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you've got this perfect. We got to get
It's
it.
perfect.
We got to get it. But yeah, he's definitely on the list, man. Maybe he might be one of the most underrated now. 'Cause
I think
a lot of
so.
people have really talked about him over and over and over on this show.
Yeah, it's got. I think we have a city just full of crushes, man. Like Des O'Neill is hilarious. Like
Yeah,
he's
dude.
so fucking good.
Yeah.
Angela Walker also super funny.
Dude, she's like a unicorn to me. I
Yeah.
never know where she's performing. I never know what's going on with her. I'm not sure if she still exists. And then randomly she'll be on a stage. I'm like, God,
but
she's a
you
killer.
know she's crushing.
She's a killer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whew. All right, man. Well, let's get out of here, dude. I
All
really
right.
appreciate it. Anything you want to plug before you go?
Yeah,
We said get out to Tyler, right?
Yeah, get out
Yeah.
to Tyler. This Thursday, I'll be featuring for Mikey B headlining Big Laugh Comedy Club
Okay.
on the Thursday show here. And then the following Thursday, I'll be featuring for Arun Rama. He'll be headlining the New Rose City in Tyler.
There we go. Go check it out. Appreciate it, man. Oh, do the shake. We just did that. Huh?
The I'm a Fan of podcast, music, comedy, and more.